proud members of the Dread Central Podcast Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Him and Ket
Stay Alive.
Maybe.
We are a horror movie comedy podcast.
We are going to tell you the entirety of a movie, spoilers and all.
And today, I, Lauren Ketryn Porter Martin, the first of her name, am going to tell Kim a tale of a horror movie.
And I, Kim, am going to stay the fuck alive.
I believe in you.
Me too.
Wow. Guys, we are just beginning our recording, but we have been working for 2 hours. So I would just like to say a quick prayer to the goddess of technology and say thank you.
Praise be.
Please do not shit the bed. You won't shit the bed. There will be no shitting of beds.
That was just so many negatives in those statements.
You do it right.
Thank you for everything working out exactly as it's meant to be. Thank you for everything working out perfectly for us.
Yeah.
Everything is always happening perfectly for us. Everything is always working out for us. That's what I was trying to do. Say.
What she said. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
It is recording day. 2
I
days
was
before.
thinking about this.
What?
Week is the weirdest week of us recording in the past present of all weeks, because so we're recording on Thursday, so we've got such a big weekend. Tomorrow we have our drunk horror with Paige, the Madam of Horror.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be
judging a jack-o'-lantern contest with
I was
thread.
trying to think of contesting. I was like, what's the fucking word? Judging.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. And then it's Halloween.
Yeah.
And we pick our Funko Pops and we have some lives stuff with Patreon and all the fun things.
Wow.
But then this comes out on Wednesday, which is after Tuesday of the
God,
election. And I don't know what's going to happen then.
Wow. This is crazy. Like, you guys, this is truly the weirdest. Like, you guys know so much about us that we don't currently know, but you guys know it all. Wow.
I really hope we're all celebrating today. Everything is always working out for us.
Everything is working out for us and our country and humanity.
I was thinking I'm in like some podcast group, I don't know, a bunch of random podcast groups, but and someone posted in there some fucking thing about like voting for Trump or something like that, and immediately the responses were, "Oh, just like an American to think that everyone in here is American." And I was like, it's so fucking true. Like, we're just like, the world will be different 1 week from now. And it's like, no, I mean the country. And I know like people know what's going on with America and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, we're very narcissistic. Even the way we talk about the pandemic, we're like, it's killed over 200,000 people. And I'm like, no, it's killed over 1 million people.
1 million people.
We're just so fucking narcissistic.
Yeah,
it's insanity.
Well,
but
I promise I'm going to get on to positive things. But as I was taking my pre-show bathroom break, I did see a very interesting Instagram thing that put a lot of stuff in perspective that is right piggybacking on what you're saying that I'm guilty of, where everyone assumed that America was the strongest stance against a bioterrorist attack.
Oh, yeah.
But what they did not take into account was the stupidity of American people themselves.
Right. That was in Paige's story,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it was in Paige's story.
I read that yesterday.
Yeah. And that
yeah.
is...
And like how dangerous it is right now that like basically every other country is being like, oh, so
Americans
if we
are
want to
idiots.
defeat America, it's pretty damn fucking easy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because their people won't listen to
Yep.
Science.
Yeah. So good job, America.
Whoop whoop. One thing that everyone has to look forward to, including us, depending on how today is, whatever, next week is Friday the 13th. So just giving you something bright to look forward to next week, regardless of how today is. It's going to be Friday the 13th, and we get to continue our journey of watching the Friday the 13th. So we're going to be on part 3.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. And I can't remember if the last Friday the 13th, did I get on a soapbox about how it's like super anti woman to consider 13 unlucky? Did I talk about that the last time?
I'll save it familiar,
okay.
But I can't think about why 13.
Yeah, I'll talk about it on
next. We'll talk about it then.
Yeah,
or just tell me off screen, camera, mic, and and I'll be like, oh yes, you totally said that.
Yeah,
it sounds familiar. But,
yeah.
Anyway, I hear that it's rumored that a hockey mask might make an appearance. Finally.
I'll fucking believe it when I see it. I've watched 2 of these goddamn things, and there is not a hockey mask in sight.
I'm very excited to attempt to watch it in 3D. So
how are you going to do that?
I ordered the 3D DVD and old school 3D glasses because I assumed that they would be the best for it.
Oh my god, you fucking nerd! That's so cool.
I'm really excited.
Oh my god, you're such a nerd.
But I hope that that's the way that works best.
Or you'll just be sitting alone in your apartment with super cool glasses on.
Oh no, who's gonna see me? I'm fucking alone.
Oh god damn it!
Don't worry, I'll take pictures and share it with everyone because you're all my friends and the only people I have to hang out with.
Do we have any other business?
No, the month of October shall be finished.
Oh man,
and it was a doozy.
It was a real doozy. It's the best month. It's also
doozy.
Yeah.
We had our first Dread episode. We got to celebrate we got to announce it this week, and it was very exciting. Thank you so much to everyone.
Yeah.
Who there were just so much love and support from everyone, and we just love you guys and thank you so much. Lots of great feedback. We're so fucking excited for this journey, and
here we go.
This up level
up level. That's so true. Okay, I don't have any business. I'm having that thing where I'm like, I had things to talk about, and now I don't have any things to talk about. So I guess I have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, nothing happens in my life except for podcast things, which you're all aware of everything that's happening. So
here we go. Do you want to hear a movie?
Do anything? Yeah, sure.
Great.
Guess. It seems like I should. Usually I have more updates. I'm just like, I don't.
I know. It's weird. Okay. Well, here we go, guys.
Just voting for blue, no matter who.
Yep.
That's all that's happening.
Sending money all over the country for blue campaigns and just praying that we don't vote for our rapid demise. Okay. So
tell me a movie.
Here we go.
I'm very excited for this one.
So the movie that I watched is Idle Hands.
Yay.
Starring the longest running boy on my wall as a preteen.
Oh.
Devon Sawa.
Oh.
He was.
What poster did you have of him?
Well, here's why.
Like a tiger beat kind of?
Yeah, it was like a tiger beat situation.
Like posy thing.
Mm-hmm. But because I was like into him from Casper at like that age range, I was like, oh yeah, like Casper is my boyfriend. But then like he moved into this era of himself and I was like into him, which is why like he lived on my wall like a long time.
Wow.
In like multiple iterations.
Who else was on your wall?
Andrew Keegan.
Oh, yeah.
I loved him. I was a Ben Affleck girl.
Almost joined his cult.
Sure. Yeah, Kim's very familiar with Andrew Keegan.
Ben Affleck, eh?
Because it was they were, you know, new on the scene. So it was Ben and Matt, and you were either a Ben girl or a Matt girl. Right. I was a Ben girl for sure.
like later then, but I don't know. I guess. Okay.
I mean, I had boys on my wall for a while.
Okay.
So, who else? I had a super, super hot picture of Brad Pitt, like the hottest picture of Brad Pitt I've ever fucking seen in my life. And then I basically just cut out like hot dudes. So it would be like, those like, Calvin Klein ads and shit.
Just random hot dudes?
Yeah, and I would make collages and put them on my wall.
Fascinating.
Yeah. You didn't put collages of boys on your wall?
I didn't have a single boy hanging on my wall.
Interesting. Not even Marky Mark? Your main dude?
No, like he was my main dude, but like I didn't have any posters on my walls. I don't think.
Interesting.
Again, because I don't like anything.
You don't like
enough.
anything. Yeah, mine was not. It wasn't even posters. It was literally like from magazines or Tiger Beat or whatever else, and I would like cut them out and like
didn't have that.
make collages.
Like the closest thing I had to that, which was not about being like, oh, I love this person. It was more just like in my photo albums, we would cut out words and different things from like magazines and put them all over my photo albums, but like in each picture. But no, I just don't idolize things.
Yeah,
or people.
And I did. And I
not that there's anything wrong with that. A lot of like, of course, like
no,
I would say I'm more odd for that than not.
And it was also like there was a crafty element to it that I was also doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, arranging them on my wall and shit like that. Like, nerdy shit that you probably could trace to now how I am. So
I liked crafty things.
Yeah.
But...
So Devon Sawa was
big fan.
My main dude. We saw him at some horror convention that we went to before the apocalypse. I don't remember what it was, but maybe Midsummer. But I remember like it's the weirdest sensation when you see like a childhood crush.
It is weird
because you get the childhood feelings, like you get the butterflies and like your face gets all red. And I just caught myself being like, I am a married woman and I feel like I like I'm gonna pee my pants.
Yeah, it's so true.
But he still looks great, and I follow him on Twitter, and he's very leftist, blue, and liberal, and I just he held up nicely.
He did.
It didn't hold up nicely. This movie.
No.
It was a interesting walk down memory lane, and I enjoyed it, but had a lot of feelings about the type of messaging that I was subconsciously getting as a child.
Right. Totally, yeah.
So that was interesting because I actually like. My mom sent me this little memory box that my best friend in high school, Lauren, and I made for each other, where like we kept it until graduation day and then traded. So like for all of high school, we were like putting memories in it and stuff. And my mom just sent me that, and there were a bunch of lines in there that I was like, I don't know what this is from. And then I watched the movie and I was like, it's from Idle Hands. It's like funny. Shit that we like laughed at in Idle Hands. So, okay. Jokes didn't hold up either, but the sentiment was cute. So here we go.
What year was it?
I'm going to guess 99, but let's see if I'm right. 99. Yep.
Oh.
Okay. So Rodman Flender directed it.
Who wrote it?
Terri Hughes and Ron Milbauer wrote it.
Terri Hughes. Do I know that name?
I don't think it's the... it sounds familiar to me as well. I don't think that's the Terri Hughes we're thinking of. And I don't know what Terri Hughes we're thinking of, but it's not that one.
It might be a mixture of those names.
It might be. Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we go. All right, dead or alive? Devon, whose name is Anton in this, but...
Alive?
Seth Green.
Alive.
Fulton Reed.
Dead.
Jessica.
Alive.
Mom.
Alive.
Dad.
Alive.
Vivica A. Fox.
Ooh, fire. Dead.
Heavy Metal Randy.
Dead.
Devil Girl.
Alive.
And you're back. Okay, here we go. So, jack-o'-lanterns outside We're outside of a house. It pans around, and I also see a reindeer. So appears to be Halloween, but we also see like a reindeer decoration,
Like
not
a
like an
sleigh.
actual reindeer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we go into the house and we go upstairs, and Mom and Dad are laying in bed, and a reindeer appears.
I was just thinking if it was an actual reindeer, and you're like jack-o'-lantern's like, reindeer, it's too early. Come back later. Too soon.
And they're like, oh, sorry. Okay, so Mom and Dad are in bed, and the dad is Fred Willard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Who's in all the
Christopher
things.
Guest things. Yeah. And he's like, being Fred about it.
Sure.
So they're getting into bed and they're blah, 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 talking about decor and shit. And Mom is like, did you blow out the jack-o'-lanterns?
Oh, don't blow out the jack-o'-lantern.
And he's like, yeah, I did, or whatever. And I was like, why are you blowing out the jack-o'-lantern? We'll find out later. So he's like, yeah, I did. So they turn off the lights and they lay down and they look up, and written in glow-in-the-dark paint, it says, I'm under the bed.
No.
That is what they did. So then...
Oh my God, that's the most terrifying thing I think ever.
Yeah.
That's way up there.
Yeah.
With one of the most terrifying things I can think of.
So I don't know what the fuck you would do by yourself. Like, I don't know what I would do, but she does exactly what I would do if I was not alone, which is go look. Go check it out. I will stay on top of the bed. You look under the bed. So Fred, gets a flashlight and he, looks under. Nothing there. No one's there. So he's like, I'm sure it's just Anton playing a prank on us. Anton is Devon Sawa. The mom is like, really? You think he would do that? And then Fred is like, no, probably not. I mean, Anton wouldn't scoot his behind off the couch if the house was on fire. So then they hear a noise and they freak out. And Fred's like, no, it's just the cat. It's just the cat. So Mom is like, I need you to go look and see what that noise was. So Fred goes downstairs. Mom is super freaked out. Then I had a comment about how the wallpaper doesn't match the headboard or the sheets, which is extremely relevant to what we're talking about. I felt the need to write it down. And so she's sitting on the bed, doesn't want to get off the bed.
Sure.
But she goes into her nightstand and she grabs knitting needles as if she's going to
It's like a weapon.
I thought it was as a weapon, but then she just starts knitting. And I was like,
just to calm herself?
Just to calm herself, I guess. So she's just kind of scarily knitting. And then the cat jumps on the bed. And she's like,
That's all I'm going to think of next time I'm just scared in my room at night or something. It's just dark. I'm just going to be like, I just need to knit. Please let me knit.
She's a nervous knitter. So the mom is like, oh, Bones, come over here. The cat's name is Bones. And she snuggles the cat. And then she hears a yell downstairs. So she's like, Fred. She gets up out of bed and she's holding the cat and she's looking through the dark house, walking through. And she walks underneath the attic, it's one of those pulley down attics. And she pulls it down just a little bit and she's like, Anton, wake up. And then puts it back up and keeps walking. Then she goes downstairs and she's whispering for Fred. And then we see that the jack-o'-lantern she's talking about were actually in the house, in the foyer. And they're standing scarecrow, people-size things that have jack-o'-lanterns for heads.
Oh, my.
And those are the candles that, he didn't blow out. So she, goes over and, blows them out. And she's like, oh, God damn it, Fred. Blows them out. And then slips on something. It's blood. Question number 1.
Yes.
What do you do and what does Mom do?
So where am I?
You are at the foot of the stairs in front of the door, the outside door.
I'm going to run outside and run away and maybe to a neighbor's house and call for help.
Okay. And what does Mom do?
She's gonna... It's blood. She's gonna...
So she slipped on it.
She's just She's gonna knit real fast. She's gonna
Where are my needles?
knit so hard. She's gonna make a full hat. She's so anxious.
This is my fear hat.
She's gonna get up and get a knife from the kitchen.
I wish that had been the case, ma'am. But instead, she does exactly what we should never do. And she runs right the fuck back up the stairs.
Oy.
And she kind of like yells for Anton as she's like running down Anton, something scary is happening, and like runs back into her room, jumps on the bed, and she like grabs the phone, and it's like a rotary phone. And this annoyed me so much. Like, how quickly would your digits actually dial 911?
Very quickly.
Right. On a scale of very slow to very quickly, it would be very quickly, no?
It's a push button.
Yes, it's a push button.
Yeah, 911.
This is no exaggeration.
911.
Yeah, 911. This is no exaggeration. She literally goes, 911, full lift of the thumb. Halfway down, the phone is yanked out of the wall. And I was like, well, you literally dialed for 25 minutes and didn't even finish the number.
Bitch.
So the phone is like pulled out of the wall. So she like goes to like look under the bed to like get the phone. And she is pulled under the bed. And then somehow the bed crashes down upon her and smushes her.
Oh.
I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but she is bed smushed.
Ouchies.
So now we cut to attic room, Devon Anton Sawa's room, and the cat like comes upstairs and like jumps on him and wakes him up, and he does this thing where he fell asleep with headphones on, and then he took the headphones off and put other headphones on.
He took the headphones off and put other headphones on.
I guess he was like, maybe it's like a stereo that's like not portable, like it's hooked up to like speakers, and then he put his Walkman on. Maybe that's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's what it was. But it's like the same song playing. So he just is like, okay, I'm going downstairs. And we see that he like wears an inhaler around his neck, like a necklace.
Oh.
And he just walks right past the blood on the ground. And the cat starts like licking it up. And he goes into the kitchen. He makes cereal. He goes to pour milk, and there's no milk. So he's like, Mom, no milk. And then he sees the dog pick up like an empty bowl. And he's like, Mom, no dog food. And then it cuts to him in the basement, or rather the living room, sitting on the couch. And he like lights a shit ton of incense, like 6 sticks of incense, scratches his balls with a ball scratcher, with a back scratcher.
Oh.
With a back scratcher, turns on the TV, changes the news, which sounded like it was about to say like a string of murders in town, changes the channel. And then we see that his inhaler around his neck is not an inhaler, it's a bong.
Oh, okay.
Not a bong, a bowl. And so he lights up, changes the news to cartoons, and then it's just like jump cuts of him getting like super high.
Sure.
And then like running out of weed. So he like picks up an empty baggie, and then he gets on the phone and he calls his dealer, and he's like, hey, bring me a dime. And the dealer is like, this isn't Domino's, you lazy bitch. Come and get it yourself. So he's like, come on, man, I'm comfortable. And then the dealer hangs up on him. And I was like, I feel you, dude. Like, I mean, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable.
Bring me Taco Bell.
Yeah. Bring me a drink. We cut to Devon. He goes outside. He walks across the street. He's like in his boxers and a robe. And he walks past his neighbor who we learn is Heavy Metal Randy. And he's like working on a monster truck. Like he drives a monster truck around the neighborhood.
Like a decorative monster truck or just a very large truck?
Like, I feel like it's like a very large truck that's bordering on, like if you went, I've never been to a monster truck rally.
Oh, I have.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
You've
I've
been
probably been to more than one, to be honest.
And you just watch trucks.
Yeah, I think they
squish
like
things.
drive over stuff and they like race each other, I think.
And they race each other. So it's
Oh,
just
I
a bunch of
remember.
trucks, and they're just the thing you're paying to see is trucks driving over things.
I think that's the basis of it.
Interesting.
I mean, I was a kid. Again, remember how we talked about in Christine last week, how my family was really into cars. I've been to lots of car things. I've been to drag racing quite a few times.
Interesting.
I almost drag raced my first Camaro, like myself.
Really?
I can't raced it. Yeah.
Wow. This is fascinating.
So, wow, it's exciting when we learn new things about each other.
It really
at
is.
this stage of our relationship.
I mean, it's incredible. So,
but do you know what I'm saying? How like the monster trucks at the rallies are like decorative, like they're usually themed in some way. Like
this wasn't themed. It was
this
like
is
a big black truck, but
yeah,
like it
so
was.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like a very large truck. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like really.
I can picture it.
Yeah,
but
really
it's not
big.
like I race this or I drive this in monster truck rallies.
I am not employed by Monster Truck Incorporated.
Okay,
Right.
got it.
So, okay, where was I? Okay, so his heavy metal neighbor is having sex with his truck, and he's just like, "Hey, Anton," like just whatever. So then we cut to Anton crawling in the basement window of someone else's house. So it's like, and we see that it's Seth Green sitting on the couch. I fucking love Seth Green, Oz from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then, do you remember in Mighty Ducks, it was the goalie with red hair, and he was just really good at being a goalie.
I don't.
He's one of those people.
Mighty Ducks, really, like, but I've seen it.
Yeah, you would 100% like recognize his face.
Yeah.
But his character name in Mighty Ducks is Fulton Reed, so I like just call him Fulton the whole time. So Devon climbs in the window, and Seth and Fulton are like, "We're out." And Devon is like, "You said you were holding." And Fulton is like, "Didn't say what I was holding." And then he grabs his dick. Yeah. It was like, good joke. And Seth is like, you know, just like razzing him, and just like Devon's like annoyed. And then he like sits down in the chair, and Seth is like, "All you do is sit on the couch and smoke weed. Don't you think you should have some ambition?" And I was like, says the dude sitting on the couch smoking weed with no ambition. What are you talking about? Like, you're all sitting on the couch smoking weed with no ambition. And so Devon is like, "I do have ambition. My dream is to get high on the couch while some hot broad brings me food." And I was like, okay, real catch, Devon. So
Real catch.
this was like kind of the beginning of being like, oh, what was this movie? What were the jokes I was laughing at? What is happening? So Fulton is like, if you don't get your shit together, like your parents are going to kick you out. So like basically they're saying like Fulton and Seth are lazy. Devon is like a whole other layer of lazy.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he's so lazy that the lazy dudes are talking to him about how lazy he is.
Okay, got it.
So Fulton is like, your parents are going to kick you out. And Devon's like, actually, I haven't seen them in a couple days.
What? A couple days?
I was like, what is your life? Like, what would be the scenario that you wouldn't see your parents for a couple days and not know?
Oh, that's hilarious. So, I take it that they are over like 18-ish, like they're not in high school.
No, they're in high school, but they're
They
like
are in high school.
seniors, like the oldest high school you could be, but high school. Yeah, for sure. All of the horror movies made in this time period all took place in a fucking high school. Like, John Hole's out.
Tits up.
Cheers.
I don't have anything yummy today.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a Guinness. It's delicious. Okay. So then they're like, okay, party at Anton's. And then they ask him, they're like, have you been watching the news? And Devon is like, I hate that show. And he's like, but haven't you seen,
Me too, bro.
Yeah. He's like, haven't you seen like the string of murders that have been happening? And they're talking about like 4 people that were murdered. And then like the Feldstein twins were also murdered. That's exactly what they say. Apparently the Feldstein twins were known for jerking off into a blender. And I was like,
I'm sorry?
That is one of the lines. And then I looked at the
They're
trivia.
known for jerking off into a blender.
And then like drinking it, or like an empty blender, or like why into a blender?
Is this like an aiming situation that they're being cheered for?
I mean, honestly,
or because I'm putting it in my smoothie?
that's what I don't know. Like the story just ended there.
They say it's great for your skin.
Maybe they were health nuts. Nuts. Good one. So blah blah blah. But what was funny is like, I guess when they would show this on TV, they would obviously like, they filmed lines of them not saying curse words. Like they would do a take for TV.
Oh, fascinating.
But then they also like made it so that they spit into their smoothie instead of jizzed into their smoothie. I don't know. Censorship is weird. Like it's just
funny.
It's very weird. So lots of people dead. They're talking very casually about it. Nobody seems to care. Then we hear outside on the street a scooter, like a electrical, like a, you know, like a scooty scooter, not like a using your foot scooter.
Electrical scooter.
Or like a
Okay.
motorized scooter, a moto scooter, a moped. That's what it is.
Oh,
Okay.
We had a moped growing up. Actually, we had a couple. Again, going back to my auto family.
Wow. I mean, we really, like, it's not like I didn't know your family was, like, into motorized vehicles.
Right.
I was aware. But, like, the amount of exposure that you had at such a young age
Really did.
to automobiles and their cousins is fascinating.
All of
to
them,
me.
yeah. We had a mini bike, go-kart.
Wow. A go-kart.
We did. It was fun.
This is amazing, guys.
Very fun.
I love learning new things about my best friend.
Just riding the go-kart around the fucking parking lot of the hospital that we lived behind.
Do you hear what you just said? Just riding my go-kart around the parking lot of the hospital.
That's what we did.
Our lives were different. So we hear a moped. And Devon is like looking out the window, like peeking out, like
We
this.
hear a moped and Devon peeks out. Okay.
Yeah. And it's Jessica Alba.
Hi, girl.
Yeah. I think this was like one of the first things that she did.
Interesting.
And Seth and Fulton are like, just go talk to her, dude. Like, just go talk to her. Like, how long has she lived next door to you? Like, and you haven't said like a single word to her. And they're like, she's gonna like think you're a creep if she just catches you like reading her lyrics that she writes over her shoulder in bio. Like, take her to the Halloween dance. So that's where we learn that there's like a Halloween dance. And Devon is like, are you guys going to the Halloween dance? And they're like, well, we can't go anywhere else because of the curfew. Like, the only place we can go is the Halloween dance because of the fucking murders and shit. And he was like, just ask her. And then he sees that she dropped her lyric book, like it fell off her moped. So he's like, I'm going to go give it to her. I'm going to go be her knight in shining armor. And then they make like a blowjob movement of like making her head bop up and down on his penis. Because I don't know.
I don't get it.
Just being like, yeah, she's going to want to thank you for finding her
that's
book.
her thank you. Okay.
Yeah. And then
It's always good when you have to explain your joke.
I know. Yeah. And then Seth is like, yeah, just go talk to her, man. Maybe she'll think you're funny or something. And I was like, or she'll think you look like Devon fucking Sawa. Like, I don't think, like, his looks did not require him to be funny at all. Except he kind of is. So he's a real catch. So Fulton is like, hey, man, you should probably put some pants on. So he, like, grabs some pants from Fulton because he came over in his boxers. And then Seth and Fulton are just, like, throwing cheesy poofs at each other's mouth. And then as soon as he leaves, they pull out a giant bag of weed. And they're like, I thought you were out. And they're like, no. And so they smoke out of a boob bong. Like it's just a boob bong. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It gets worse. It really gets worse. So
Because
then.
now I'm just thinking about what you said of like, oh, these were the messages we were being told.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
Especially at that age.
Yeah, like I have
Interesting.
to thank boys with a blowjob for bringing me stuff I drop. I was nervous. So it's like I didn't know that was required, but clearly.
Is that why I can't find a husband?
Yep. You gotta blow them as a thank you.
I didn't know. God damn it. I should have watched this fucking movie.
And you have to let them put their hand on the back of your head too. That's part of it. Ugh. So cut to him getting the book off the street, and he smells it and walks up to her house, and she answers the door, and she's just like, hi. But then he just like shoves the book into her and like runs away.
Oh.
And so she like calls after him, and she's like, hey, and he just like ignores her. And I was like, smooth move, dude.
Devon.
So
Cutie.
cut to police station.
Okay.
There's a police officer walking one Miss Vivica A. Fox,
Queen.
who is dressed as a nun, to a holding cell. And the police officer is like I told you, Sister Liquor. And she's like, it's liqueur. And she's like, but you can call me Debbie. We just brought this guy in last night or something like that. She's like, take me to him. And she's like, you're sure this is the guy? And so they get there, and the dude has his hands like chained outside of the bars, right?
Yeah,
And so he's standing up outside of the bars, dead. Like he's just like standing there like as if his face froze in like fear or whatever. And his hands are like mangled. Like they're just like, well, like they don't look like hands. Like they look like they got like all stretched out and squished kind of thing. And she's like, God damn it. And we then see her leaving. And as she's leaving, she pulls off her nun's habit. And we see that she's in like regular Tomb Raider kind of clothes. Like, you know, sexy safari, I'm on a mission type of clothes.
Of course.
And she gets into her Winnebago, and she marks on a map like where she is. So like she's got a map on the wall of the Winnebago.
Okay.
And she has all of these like clippings all over of like murder in Omaha, murder in Sheboygan or whatever.
Interesting.
And she's like putting X's on the map, and then she's like, oh no. And she like puts an X over the last town, and then she like connects the dots, and it's a pentagram.
Dun dun dun.
And she's like, holy shit. And then like her Winnebago speeds off. Pentagrams are not a sign of the devil, but it's fine. So now we cut to Devon, and it's like kind of like dusk, nightish time.
Okay.
And he's rolling a shopping cart like through the foggy alley. And I'm just now realizing what he was doing.
What was he doing?
I just figured it out. He went to the store like because he's having a party. Like his parents aren't home. Remember, they were like party at Anton's house. But like it was very dark and foggy. So I was like, does he just like own a shopping cart? And he's like riding it around the neighborhood? Like, because he was like on it. And I was like, is this what he does? So he's like riding it through the dark alley, lots of fog. And then he like stops and he looks behind him. No one there. So he keeps going. Push to the ground. And it's two cops. And they're like, they pulled their guns on him. One of them is Roach from People Under the Stairs.
Oh.
And they're just like, oh, it's you, you fucking fuck. Like, they, like, know him.
Uh-huh.
And Devon is like, what did I do? You know, whatever. And it comes out that, like, they basically just constantly fuck with him because, like, he's a stoner. And they're like, how come you never invited us to get high with you behind the gym? And Devon's like, you guys were seniors when I was a freshman. And also you guys were dorks. Like, why would I have invited you? So they like pull him up and they're like, they like pat him down and they're like, are you holding? And he's like, no, dude, I'm not. And so then they like see his inhaler and they're like, why does this smell like weed or whatever? And the other cop is like, dude, it's his inhaler. Like, leave him alone kind of thing. And then they're like, whatever. And then they check his pockets. And he's like, these aren't my pants. But he pulls out like a baggie that like clearly smells like weed.
Okay.
And Cop Roach is like, this smells like pot. And Devon is like, you can't cite me for possession of a bag. Like, that isn't anything. And so then they just drop the bag on the ground and they're like, fine, we'll cite you for littering, $200.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So moral of the story, invite people behind the gym to get high with you or they're going to give you citations later.
Be bitter for life.
So now we cut to him in his living room rolling a joint with the citation. But what he's rolling is nutmeg and oregano, because back when he was in the basement with Seth and Fulton, they were like, when they were like, we don't have any weed, they were like, I hear nutmeg and oregano can get you pretty high. So he's like back at his place smoking nutmeg and oregano, which is like, I cannot think of a grosser thing to smoke.
Like, ouch, my throat.
My throat. And then also he's rolling it in like a piece of paper. So he's just literally inhaling paper that's on fire.
So silly.
So
I love it. I love the 90s.
The 90s were the 90s. So then he gets his dog to like lick the paper to like make it stick. And then he hears a noise. So he turns the music off. And he like holds the dog's muzzle closed because he's like panting. Nothing. So he turns 9-inch nails back on. And he takes a huge drag and immediately chokes forever. Of
course.
Like just chokes forever and like runs to the kitchen and he's like drinking out of the faucet and like puts dish soap in his mouth. Ew. And I read on the trivia thing that Devon Sawa actually did that. Yeah, like and it was like improvised. And they were like, we'll take it. So now we cut to him. He's washed his mouth out, but now he's making a bologna sandwich. But he's watching the TV in the living room. So he's like not really paying attention because it's like 1999. So like music videos were still like on TV.
Yes.
And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh God, those were the best. I need to find a channel that's just like music videos, like just playing music videos.
Today.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I guess YouTube.
But it's not it's not playing them. It's not the same. It's not what I want.
Not the same.
You know.
Did you have a box? We've probably talked about this, but the box, the station, the channel.
Oh,
the box.
No, I was like, I have lots of boxes. I
the box you could request. It was just request. There was no DJs or VJs or anything like that. So it was only music videos, and it was all by request. So you just like call up and then dial in a number for whatever video you wanted.
That sounds so fun. I never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
And then it would play on TV.
And it was on TV. Yeah. That was like the entire channel was just music video after music video after music video after music video.
God, I love that.
And then it just had like a thing scrolling across the bottom as to like what was next and like who by and stuff like that.
I love that idea. Oh, you know what I would fucking kill for? Some good old fashioned VH1 pop-up video.
I love pop-up video.
That was the best.
Yeah.
So he's like watching that. Okay. So he's making a bologna sandwich, but like watching the TV, not what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so we see that he like sticks the knife into the mayonnaise, but the knife is covered in blood. Oh. And so he like spreads the mayonnaise on the sandwich, but he's like not looking. So he puts the bologna on and takes a huge bite of it and then goes to stick the knife back in the mayonnaise. But I'm like, you've already made the sandwich. Why are you? Anyway, he sticks it back into the mayonnaise and that's when he sees that there's blood on it. And he like spits out his sandwich and he's like, ah!
Gross.
So then he's just like, the killer's here. And he like sees the cat. He looks down and the cat's playing with something. The cat is playing with an eyeball. That's like still connected to like the retinal nerve. Like it's gross. And the cat's just like, me, fun little toy, me. Oh my God, my cats would totally bat my eyeballs around if I died.
Of course they would.
And I'd be like, "Aw." My ghost would.
100%.
So,
and I'd be like, "Get off my eyeball."
That's so true. Oh my gosh, let's be ghosts and let my cats eat us.
Oh my gosh,
so
we're gonna be the best ghosts.
We're gonna be such fun ghosts. Oh my God, there's so many people I want to haunt.
This is so exciting because we get to be friends forever.
Forever.
Not just for lifetime. them are going to be best ghost.
I'm really excited to be a ghost now.
It's gonna be
Oh my
really
God, that's
fun.
going to be great. Okay, so eyeball. Cat's playing with it. So he runs and like hugs the dog. Like he like runs away and like hugs the dog.
Uh-huh.
So then we cut to him like around a corner, but he's like pushing the dog in front so that like he's first. The poor fucking dog. I'm like, what if there was a murderer there and the dog got murdered first? Like you'd feel so bad.
Classic. Everything.
100%.
It's so funny.
Then I also read in the trivia, they were like, the dog clearly has an erection in that scene.
I mean, it's Devon Sawa.
Yeah. Who doesn't have an erection around Devon Sawa?
Exactly.
I ask you.
I have a vagina right now.
As do I. I've had one since I watched the movie. Full week.
I'm pushing his head down on it right now.
Yeah. Me too. Girls don't
Flipped
really
it
like
around.
that. Okay, so then he's like walking through the hallway. I think he grabs like an umbrella, but like it's very dark, so I couldn't tell. He grabs something like as a weapon. I think it's an umbrella.
Right.
And he goes to like the front door. So he at least is like trying to leave the house.
Okay.
Because he thinks there's killers in there. So he goes to the front door, and then we see like the silhouette of someone standing outside the door. And so he's like, ah! And he runs upstairs and he's like, Duke, come on. And he like makes the dog come with him. And he jumps into his parents' bed and like jumps under the covers with Duke. Like Duke comes up and jumps under the covers with him. And then he like is still under the covers and is like trying to reach for the phone, but he's not looking.
Right.
So he hits the alarm clock and it starts going off, which scares him, which makes the covers fly off of him. And then he looks up and sees I'm under the bed written on the ceiling. And he runs back downstairs, but trips over the umbrella. So he like falls and he knocks over the jack-o'-lanterns. Found his parents.
No shit.
They were in the jack-o'-lanterns.
Oh, fucking shit.
And I was like, they are starting to decomp. And I was like, how did he not smell this? But then I was like, oh, because he just like lights incense and smokes weed all day.
Right.
Like he didn't smell
That's
it.
true.
So I was like, that makes sense.
And then he burns hearts and girls' ankles with the incense.
Yes, exactly. So he sees this and he runs outside the door and barfs in the bushes.
Sure.
Kind of like you did at my parents' house. No, it wasn't you that barfed in my bushes. Who barfed in my bushes? Who barfed in my bushes?
I don't. Someone did.
I think it was Anna, maybe? I think Anna barfed in the bushes.
Maybe.
Yeah. I just assumed it was you.
Fair.
Sorry, Dad.
In your brain, it's me.
Yeah.
Any
barf?
barfing is me.
Like, even when I barf, I just remembered as you barfing.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I can't even fight you.
Yeah. So he runs outside. We realized it was Seth and Fulton that were the silhouettes outside of the door. So they're like, hey, man, what's up? And they see him barfing. They're like, some bad shrooms? Okay. So, Kim, question 2.
Yeah.
Your parents are dead jack-o'-lanterns in the house. What do you do and what does Devon do?
I'm going to be like, my fucking parents have been murdered. The murderers. There's a murderer in town. Let's go back to your house and call for help, please.
Okay.
Immediately.
What does Devon do?
I mean, you asking me this question makes me feel like he doesn't do that. But I'm like, what would one do?
Well, you're going to have an opportunity to learn a little bit about Anton.
I guess, does he not say anything so he can throw a big party still?
One point, he says, you guys, my parents are dead. Come look. So they all three go inside and they come in, but they don't see his parents right away because, again, they're distracted by the music videos on TV. Maybe that's why they don't play them anymore, because they kept distracting people from things they needed to see, like blood on a knife or dead parents.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah,
It
they
was
were
great.
awesome. And this particular one is that song that's like, hey, pop that coochie. You know, that's the only part I know. Pop that coochie, yo, pop that coochie. And it's just a bunch of coochies popping in the video. You see it.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like Pop That Coochie was like the 1999 twerk because it was all that kind of move, that sort of,
totally,
you know.
Totally.
And so Fulton and Seth walk in and they're like, oh, I love this song. I thought it was banned. Because I guess there's a lot of coochies popping. I don't know why it would be banned. They're all clothed.
In my head, when you said band, I was thinking like B-A-N-D.
Oh!
Like, I was like, just really trying to follow along. Like, oh, like maybe they thought the singer, like who sang it was banned.
Oh, yeah. No.
Like the title of the band was banned.
No. Oh. Now that you say that, though, that's a great fucking title for a band.
I thought it was banned.
Because it sounds like you can't speak correctly when you say it. Who are you going to see? I'm going to see band. You mean the band? Yeah, band. The band is banned.
But you mean banned as in
B-A-N-N-E-D.
no longer allowed.
Correct. Because there was too much coochie popping. So, and they start like dancing like idiots. Hey, pop that coochie, hey. And Devon is like, you dickhead, someone killed my parents.
Sure. I'd be mad too.
Yeah. So Devon turns the TV off so that they can focus. And Seth gets scared and like jumps back and like knocks over a bag of chips that falls onto the ground and like chips fall out of it.
Okay.
And Fulton is like trying to talk to the very dead parents. Like they are decomping. And he's like, Mr. Anton, Mrs. Anton. I can't remember their last name, but he's like, are you okay? And then he like starts pounding on Fred Willard's chest. And they're like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck? And Devon like pulls him up and he's like, it's CPR. I've seen it on TV. And he's like, they're fucking dead. And then Seth is like, what's in his hand? And there's like a little piece of fabric, like gray fabric in his hand, like as if it was ripped off something. And Devon looks down at his shirt and there's a hole in his shirt. He doesn't say anything.
What's happening?
He's just like,
Did I kill my parents?
Yeah, so he's just like, what the fuck? So Devon sees part of his shirt is ripped, same fabric. Devon starts to like back up, and then he sees scrawled in blood on the floor. He's very not observant. Like, he's not observant. There are like messages written in blood all over the floor. And it just says aunt scrawled on the floor.
You're going to have to spell that for me.
A-N-T.
Okay.
Not, if it was A-U-N-T, I would have said aunt. I would have pronounced it correctly.
Oh, right. I forgot that you say it like your aunt is sitting next to your hearth.
Yes. Aunt Cat. The only person, it was Aunt Susan for some reason, but it was Aunt Cat, Aunt Joanne, Aunt Dolly, Aunt Pila.
So you do say aunt for some.
Some, yeah.
That's even weirder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just say aunt for everyone.
But like Aunt Pila and Aunt Babby, that makes sense. Aunt Cat. Like they were the oldest ones.
Right.
And they really required an aunt.
That's fair.
What is my family?
Yeah, very different than mine.
Yep. No monster trucks for me.
Aunt. So A-N-T.
A-N-T scrawled on the floor.
Terrifying.
Yes. Yes.
For me.
Yes. There was a Coachella of ants.
Coachella of ants. Someone sent me on Instagram. They were like, it was something being like, next time you have a party, buy a bunch of these fake cockroaches. And it was like a picture of them like all over the bathroom because everyone goes into the bathroom. So it was like cockroaches like coming out of the vent and like all over the toilet paper and things like that. And she was like, this made me think of like your aunt situation. And I was like, ah.
That would really fucking upset me. That would really fucking upset me.
Me too.
Oh my God. I remember Anna and I had a Chinese water bug in our apartment. They're the ones that are like so big and they eat cockroaches.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I know what that looks like.
They look like rounder, blacker, bigger cockroaches. Ugh. And I guess they eat cockroaches.
Gross.
But like there was one in my room. And so I called Reese to come over and I made him drive to my apartment. I was like screaming and he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, there's a bug. And he was like, you can't do this anymore. It's like, we'll see. So Seth comes over and he's like, oh my God, they were killed by ants.
I mean, honestly,
I wouldn't put it past those fucking ants.
after the Coachella of ants, I thought they were there to murder me.
Yeah,
they
for
were
sure.
clearly doing some type of ritual for my death.
100.
So they could take over my apartment.
100%.
So I understand that he's supposed to sound dumb right now, but
I think he sounds cautious.
Yes. Cautious.
So they kind of start backing up, and then they see that not just chips fell out of that chip bag.
Oh, no. What else did?
There are 2 left ears.
2 left ears.
Both with an earring in them. And they go, the Feldstein twins.
Oh.
So then they're all just kind of staring, and Seth looks at the piece of fabric in his hand and looks at Devon's shirt and just like holds the fabric up to his shirt and says, the killer was wearing your shirt, man. And then Devon like picks up his hand and he's kind of like standing in a darkish corner, I guess, because he picks up his hand and there's like glow in the dark paint on his hands.
Devon!
And so
What are you doing? Did you kill people? What's happening?
Well, Devon also seems very confused because he's like, the killer was wearing me. And he's like, I'm the killer. So question 3.
yeah.
What do you do and what do Seth and or Fulton do?
Maybe they get scared and are like, we're gonna see ourselves out. And I am Seth or Fulton.
Yeah.
And so my friend is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? But now he might know that I know that he's a killer.
But does he know that you know that he knows that we know he's a killer?
And does he know that he's a killer?
Yeah.
What do I do? I'd also like to leave. Right now, I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to weigh my options.
How
after
quickly
that.
are you going to leave?
I'd like to leave as soon as humanly possible.
1 point for you. Please exunt quickly.
Goodbye.
Seth says,
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
Has Devon been wearing this shirt all the time we've seen him?
yes.
Okay.
There's actually another trivia question, which I didn't notice, that was like, Devon never removes an article of clothing in the movie. He only puts new things on.
Oh, because he was at first just a shirt and boxers.
And like, I think he had a robe on. Yeah.
Okay.
Or
And
like
so now he has a robe and pants.
pants. Yeah.
And
But it's not like a robe. It's just like kind of like a,
Kimono.
yes, he's wearing a kimono. He's wearing a traditional kimono. Just like a long shirt that's not tucked in or like, I don't know. It's not like roby. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
He's wearing the shirt.
He's not like fucking the dude.
No.
Not duding it up.
No, he's not duding it up.
Okay.
The dude has cancer.
No, in real life?
Yeah.
What
I
kind?
don't know.
Oh,
But honestly, if anyone can
That's
beat cancer,
sad.
it's the dude.
I love him.
And actually, he tweeted that. He was like, all right, guys, I have cancer, but don't worry. The dude's not going to die or whatever the fuck he said. It was
I love it.
really cute. Why do good people die?
We're here for you, dude.
Like, if everybody has to die.
Well, I was just going to say, I was like, well, Ketryn, spoiler alert, everyone dies.
But it's like, if we can, like, you know, maybe other people should die before other people.
yeah, like Mitch McConnell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're just saying it. Yes. Like Mitch McConnell or the president or any of the fucking fucks any of those fucking fucks, I would have taken their death over, say, Ruth Bader Ginsburg or The Dude or Prince, who was just anonymously donating to children's foundations, you fucking fucks. Where am I?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think someone killed someone.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
and it might have been me.
So he should have left quickly. But instead, Seth goes into the kitchen and says, "What's the number for 911?" And I can tell you unequivocally that Lauren Demi and I laughed a long time at that. I can promise you
I'm
that.
laughing now.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm leaning into this one.
I mean,
I'm leaning in.
it's so
I love
fucking charming that I can see why the subliminal sexist messages creeped in, because it was charming. Charming in
It's
quotation marks.
definitely a movie to watch high.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I had to take notes. I should have watched it high. Anyway, so we cut to Seth in the kitchen on the phone, and he's like, "Something's wrong with my friend. I think you took some bad nutmeg." And then Devon rips the phone out of the wall.
Out of the wall.
And he's like, "I don't even remember like doing anything." But like Seth is like backing up, and he like opens the fridge like between them, and he's like, "Would you like a beer?" Like trying to like block his path, you know? And he like hands him a beer.
Seth hands Devon a beer.
Yeah, to kind of, you know.
No, I was just making sure. who
Yeah,
he
yeah.
and
Seth
he is.
hands Evan a beer. Devon takes the beer, breaks it Kim style on the counter.
Oh, my favorite.
And shoves it directly into Seth's forehead.
Oh my God. What?
I think I just made a green mark on
That's
my
my dream way to stab someone, but
but
not my
not
friend.
Seth. Yeah. So he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
and that's not in the forehead, more in the gut, but
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right
oh
in the
my
forehead.
God.
So he's like, so that's what Devon says. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then he sees, then he like runs back into where Fulton is, and Fulton is like hitting the bong, but like out of anxiety. Like you can tell that he's just like, "Where's the weed?" And he's like, "What the fuck did you do, man?" He's like, "It was an accident." And he's like, "I can't believe you told me to smoke that." Like thinking that it's the nutmeg. And Fulton is like, "I have to leave now." And Devon is like, "That's a good idea." Then his hand gets all like claw-like and lunges for Fulton.
Oh no.
But Devon is like following his hand. So like Devon's hand blocks the door.
Right.
And is like chasing Fulton around the house now, hand first.
Sure.
Question 4, where do you go and where does Fulton go?
I do everything hand first, but that's just because they're so beautiful. I want them to just come before me, come before the rest of me, showcase my entrance. Where am I now?
You're on the first floor of the house.
And he's chasing me with his hand.
Mm-hmm. Hand first. And he just definitely killed your friend.
Sure.
For sure.
I'm going to run out the front door and then try to like slam the door on his hand and then get the fuck out of there.
Okay. What does Fulton do? Or go? Where does
he go up the stairs?
Almost as bad. He goes downstairs to the basement without an exit.
Oh, great.
And even Devon is like, "You shouldn't go down there, man. There's no way out." Like, he's a very helpful murderer.
Sure.
You know, he's giving them lots of opportunities to get away from his hand.
Very kind, Devon Sawa, you know.
Yeah.
Even as a murderer.
He really is. And so fucking charming. So Fulton locks the door to the basement. So it's one of those where it's like the door is at the top of the basement and then you go downstairs.
Okay.
Devon is like, "Don't go down there, man." But then Devon's hand punches through the door and unlocks it from the inside.
Yeah.
And Devon is like trying to not go down the stairs, but
Right.
like his hand is leading him. And I was like, not enough props were given to Devon Sawa for like the
Acting?
physical comedy that he had to do in this.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, like he was no slouch. Like this physical comedy was hard to do. This was impressive.
Yeah, I love it.
So he's like trying to not go down the stairs. And he says to Fulton, he's like, I don't want to hurt you, man. And Fulton is like, then don't. And he's like, my hand, like, I don't know what's happening. Somebody picks up an ice pick. Devon picks up an ice pick. And he's like holding it above his head. And he's like, just go, dude. Like, just run. And so he tells him to run. And he's like, I don't know how long I can hold it, like, to keep from stabbing you.
Sure.
Fulton runs up the stairs. Devon drops the pick, picks up a circle saw, throws it like a frisbee. And as Fulton is running up the stairs, he's saying to Devon, he's like, everything's going to be decapitated.
Oh, shit.
And then his head rolls down the stairs and it rolls in front of Devon's feet and looks up at him and goes, cool.
I love it.
And Devon screams.
I love it.
Also, I think that that's a thing. I think that like if you catch the signal like at the right moment,
Right.
a decapitated head can still like
Kind of like a chicken with its head cut off sort of thing.
yeah, that's a bummer. That's a real bummer. Like if I get fucking guillotined, I don't want to like once I'm guillotined, like I don't need to
You're like, I
participate
didn't do
anymore.
it.
Yeah. So, cut to Devon coming up the stairs, stunned, and he's like holding his right hand, and it's just like kind of moving on its own. Like the fingers are just like going bananas.
Ew.
And that was pretty good. Maybe I could be a creepy hand model, like where it doesn't need to be, human-like or attractive. Yeah, it still looks pretty when you do it. That was actually pretty good, Kim.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so
Sorry, we're just doing physical comedy over here into our for our audio podcast.
yep, just doing
This is
some
great.
some super cool physical comedy. So comes up the stairs. He sits on the couch and he's just like gasping and in shock, and he's like, "What have I done?" And then his right hand, which is the possessed one, picks up the remote and puts on like something creepy on the TV. So then his left hand is like trying to fight with his other hand to like change the channel, because his left hand wants to watch cartoons and his right hand wants to watch creepy things.
Okay.
And then the cat comes up, and spoiler alert, the cat is okay. But I didn't remember if the cat was okay. So the right hand then grabs the cat by the tail and like swings it around over his head and throws it out the window.
Oh no.
And somehow throws it across the street into the across the street neighbor's bush.
Wow, very strong.
Very
strong throw.
Strong throw. And
Send this hand to the NFL.
right? Just the hand though. Actually, this is the hand from the Addams Family. Same hand.
Really?
Mhm.
Real life, really?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So cut to him running across the street.
So
Not when it's when it's just the hand in the shot. It's the hand from,
interesting.
yeah. When it's connected to Devon, it's Devon's hand.
Okay.
So cut to him running across the street to Jessica's house looking for the cat in her bushes. And his hand then takes him up to her door and rings the doorbell, but just like, and like doesn't let go. So he's like trying to pull his hand off the doorbell and finally gets it loose and like falls over the banister, like into the bushes.
Uh-huh.
So she opens the door, of course, like in sexy pajamas.
That's
of course.
all I wore as a teenager.
Of course. This
And
is where
today.
when Jessica starts to be a part of this, I was like, oh, these
Right.
messages. There was some things that I was taking in subconsciously that I would like to flush out. So she like opens the door and she's like, hello? Because like he's fallen over the balcony. And so then he like pops up And he's all just like, "Ugh," and like freaked out because he can't control his hand. And she's like, aren't you a little old for Ding Dong Ditch? And by the way, I am doing a perfect Jessica Alba impression.
I believe you.
And he's moving like so fucking weird because like he's being led by his hand, but he doesn't want to be led by his hand. So like his gait and mannerisms are concerning. Mm-hmm. Like they don't look normal or inviting in any way.
Yeah.
And we already know that she does not know him well at all because he's afraid of her and doesn't talk to her. So moving so fucking weird and like panting. And she's just like not responding to the information that her eyeballs are giving her. Because she's just like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, bitch, he looks nuts. Get inside. What are you doing? And he's covered in blood. And she's just like,
what?
She's just like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh
no.
my God. Girls are props and they're only worth something if they're super hot like Jessica Alba. And we've covered that I wasn't at all. So this movie told me I was worthless. And now I have to sift through those messages as an adult.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. It was very Sondheimian because it had no logical place it was going in tune or words.
Right.
So she's like, what happened to you? Referring to be covered in blood. And he's like, me and my cat got into a fight. Mm-hmm. And she's like, it looks like you got your ass kicked. Again, spot on Jessica Alba impression. And so then she turns around, but he's like fighting with his hand when she turns around. And so she's like, so you ran and hid in my bush, but just like dripping with innuendo. And every boy in the audience in the theater just like got
my
eye got hit
to the face.
Right in the face. And then he's like, I shouldn't be here. And she's like, why? And he's like, I'm totally different. And she's like, yeah, you were so shy. And I'm like, no, bitch. He's fighting with his own fucking hand and covered in blood. Like he looks unwell. He looks like he's either on meth or like having a psychotic break. Neither of which should you be super chill about on your porch. So she's like, let's just skip the sneaking around. And he tries to say that he needs to leave, but his hand is like covering his face and like makes his head nod. So like, also, Kim, please imagine that a dude you don't know very well is nodding his head by using his hand to do it. Like, would you, like, so then question 5, what do you do and what does she do?
Oh my God, I'm going to slam the fucking door and go inside and call for help. Help?
Yes.
Help.
And what does she do?
What did she just ask him?
She didn't really ask anything. She's just kind of like, you used to be so shy and like now you're talking to me on my porch.
She keeps talking and like wants to hang out, I guess.
Double ding. She says, do you want to come inside and talk?
Oh no.
And his hand makes his head nod again. And she's like, totally normal.
How well I know a person. I'm concerned.
Kim, ask me a question.
Ketryn, do you want an Ike's sandwich? It's upsetting.
Yeah.
It's upsetting.
Join our Patreon to see me just slap myself in the face. It really hurt, actually.
I feel like your face is currently red. I feel like you could hear the slap.
Yeah.
Did everyone hear that curse slap?
Yeah,
I was did to her face.
I was committed to the moment.
You know what? I bet Devon Sawa hit himself a bunch of
so many times. So many times. So cut to them walking into her room and his hand slams the door like hard behind her. And I'm also like, this is terrifying. Like a bloody dude just came into your room and like slammed the door with his elbow. Like, this is terrifying.
Literally terrifying.
And she's like just walking in. She's like, I never got to thank you for finding her book.
Right. Pull your pants down. Let me give you that blowjob.
Thank you blowjob. And she's acting like nothing is weird. And he lets it slip that he like loves her lyrics. And she's like, you read my book? And he's like, no, but like they're really good. And like she's all happy again. And he like quotes some of her lyrics back to her. Spoiler alert, they're truly terrible. And like objectively terrible. So then she's all happy again because he like likes her lyrics and whatever. And she walks over to her music, but like the camera's like on her butt because it's 1999
right.
and it's Jessica Alba and she's the female prop in the movie. Well, you see it.
I of course do.
So his hand then picks up a letter opener and he's like, and he's like fighting really hard to get it out of his hand. And he's like, finally gets it out of his hand, but like throws it on the ground. So I'm like, so what Jessica's seeing is that he just threw a letter opener on the ground. Like this is so many red flags. Like her room is covered in red flags. And he's like, I shouldn't be here. And she's like, well, it's safer here than out there because of the murderers,
Right,
whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm dangerous. I've done stuff. And I'm like,
ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, that's catnip to any teenage girl. And then she turns to him and she's like what? And then, okay, this was actually upsetting to me. He grabs her ass, but like literally looks like he grabs like her pussy, like grabs and like she's kind of like trying to get away and like can't get his hand off of her and is just like kind of like but has like a smile on her face. And I was just like, this is
this is what we were told.
And it's like, okay,
this is definitely the messaging I received loud and clear.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not humorless. Like I loved this movie. I enjoyed watching it even this time. So it's not lost on me. I even know what they were trying to do, you know, like the physical comedy of it.
Yeah.
But what you've actually done is write a female character that serves zero purpose other than to be completely in like
she's just a prop for his story.
A prop for his story, for his physical comedy.
And if you are a female watching it, trying to relate to her,
yes,
you're being told that like when someone violates you
should
in your
be
own
flattered.
fucking home and room, you just smile and don't say anything about it.
Yes.
And pretend everything's fine.
It even goes further than that. So question 6, what do you do and what does she do?
I'ma fucking pick that motherfucking letter opener up and stab him in his fucking hand forever.
What does she do?
Does she make like a coy joke about it kind of thing? Like a, ooh something.
Yes. So she giggles and says, her line is, I'm impressed. I never thought you had the balls to grab me like that.
No.
This is the message. Like,
do I get to blame all of my then destructive college years
on Devon Sawa?
Men treating me like garbage and violate me?
Yep.
On every 90s movie I've seen?
You do. You actually,
cool.
You get to do that. So you're off the hook. Wasn't your fault. Great. It was all the messaging we were getting. Even in this like funny, and also the idea that like I just found like inside jokes that Lauren and I had written to each other completely innocently, like the dumb shit that you and I are laughing about right now, just like ha ha ha. But it's like, yeah, the only person I had to relate to was fucking Jessica Alba, who was only there to be hot, literally only there to be hot.
Which there were definitely a lot of movies during this time period like that. Like
yes,
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yes. Even like movies where the girl was the star, like what's the Taking the Glasses Off?
She's All That.
She's All That.
Yeah.
Like literally, she was worthless.
Yeah.
Until she
Until she
was
got
physically
hot,
attractive,
which happened by taking the glasses.
off.
Yeah.
And for a girl like me who didn't even have glasses to take off, how was I supposed to get hot? How was I supposed to get hot?
And I was just over here being like, who wants a thank you blowjob? I've got thank you blowjobs available.
I'm very grateful.
I'd love to thank you for treating me horribly.
Yeah. God. Yeah. So we can. Here we go. So she's like into it. She pushes him down on the bed. They start making out. And more physical comedy is his hand is choking her. And like holding her head to his face. So like she's on top she's on top of him, and it's like he's reached around her and is holding her that way.
Yeah.
And she's like groaning a little bit because she's like stuck to his face now and can't get off, but like isn't like terrified. So he finally like gets his hand free. Or like she moves it. I think she's able to move it.
Okay.
And then it grabs her again, and he's like all jerky, like trying to move it himself. And so then he ends up biting his own hand, which makes the hand be like, ow, and like lets her go. She sits up and like kind of like looks like, you're moving weird, like weirded out, but not terrified, not running out of the room, not stabbing him with a letter opener, not any of that, just going, I'm curious. And so he then takes her belt from her robe and ties his hand to the bed.
Interesting.
To which she replies, you're kinky.
Right. Totally.
I'm sorry, I just died. Sorry, I'm back now. And then the hand is like trying to get free while they do it, I guess. Cut to Vivica A. Fox in traffic in her Winnebago. Winnebago?
Aren't Vivica and Jessica Alba in a show together right now?
Are they?
It's Vivica and I want to say Jessica Alba. Does Jessica Alba make...
She is in a new show right now.
Make the honey, like soaps and stuff?
Yeah, Honest.
Honest. Honey.
Yeah. Also, like, I actually wrote this. I'm going to talk about it later. Like, Jessica Alba was definitely, like, cast to be, like, the hottest thing or whatever.
Right.
But, like, I just want to say, like, she is an incredibly impressive business mogul. Like, Honest products,
Sure, yeah.
she have made over $1 billion.
Killing it.
Yeah. So, she's fucking legit. She's awesome.
Yeah, my friend did casting for, I think, that show. I think it's on, like, Verizon Channel or something like that. Like, it's somewhere weird that, like, she's just
Verizon
like,
Channel.
She was like, yeah, like, I was like, what's it called again? And she's like, fucking da-da-da-da. Like, no one's seen it. No one knows it exists. It's fine.
Yeah. Bank of America channel. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So Vivica's driving in traffic and she's like, move it, people. There's evil out there and I got to kick its ass. So all of Vivica's lines are that.
Right. Yeah.
I felt bad for Jessica, but I felt bad for Vivica in a different way because she was clearly like, no, we have a strong female character. See, it's her.
Right.
But she's given. No.
There's a difference between a quote unquote strong female character and like a fleshed out full human character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's very much. I was thinking about that about Christine after we recorded last week. Like the reason that we related to Arnie and Dennis is because they were the only full characters.
Yes.
Like Lee was a little bit of a prop too, and definitely Kelly Preston. You know, like they were the only full characters, and even honestly, barely.
Yeah.
But more than anyone else. So like that was like who we could relate to.
Exactly. And even Vivica, like, first of all, she's the only person of color in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And all of her lines are just, you know, I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Like, those are all her lines. That's it.
Right.
And even her I can't get into it right now. We'll get there. Put a pin on that. So now we cut to them, Devon and Jessica laying postcoitally.
Okay.
And Jessica's just like, no, they just straight up fucked.
That just happened real quick and easy.
Yeah.
Like, just ding dong, hello.
Yeah.
Had never spoke to you before.
And listen, here's the thing. Girl, get your fucks. But I'm concerned for who you're choosing to fuck when when he's literally covered in red flags. Yes. Like cloaked
flags made of blood.
Yes. So postcoital, parents, she's like, my parents are going to be home soon, so you better go out the window. And then it's basically like, are you going to the Halloween dance? You should take me to the Halloween dance. Pick me up at 7. And he's like, yes, or whatever, for tomorrow probably. And he's like super excited, but also like has a demon hand and is like, how's this going to work? So now we cut to Devon in his backyard burying everyone. So he's burying his parents, he's burying Seth, and he's burying Fulton.
Oh no.
And he's just like, and he's got his hand in a sling. So like it's his hand is kind of like captured.
Right.
Captured?
You would think this would be the moment for the hand.
Right.
I'm like, hand, do some digging right now, bitch.
Yeah. I'm putting you to work.
You did this.
Yeah. But
you need to clean up after yourself.
But it's just taking a nap on his chest. So you need to clean up after yourself. Burying everyone. So he's like, I'm really sorry for murdering everybody. And he's like, I'm really going to try to change. And, he's holding his hand hostage. And he's talking to his friends. And he's like, I'm never going to forget you guys, how we sat around and got stoned and watched TV. And, like, I guess that's all we did, but I'm really going to miss it. And then he's like, amen. So, like, it's funny. Like, it's funny,
very funny
movie. 1999, I'm a sophomore. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why the messages are so insidious. So then we hear a moaning noise. A groaning, a moaning.
What? Is someone alive?
He's looking around. It's coming from under the ground.
Under the ground?
And we hear Seth saying, hey, man, I can't breathe down here.
Seth?
Yeah. And Devon says, you're dead. And he says from under the dirt, no, I'm not. He's like, you must have knocked me unconscious.
Didn't I stab you in the head?
In the head. In the head. Like, bottle at least 6 inches into his skull.
Oh.
And Devon, like, is somehow he got on the ground. I don't remember, but like somehow he got on the ground and he like rolls over to like smoke a quick bong out of his inhaler. They all tend to do that like when they're whatever.
Of course. When they need to knit real quick. And then a hand comes out of the dirt and grabs him from underground. And it's like kind of strangling him by the sling that's holding his hand.
Yeah.
And so he then gets away and Seth is like coming out of the ground. And as Devon is backing up, we hear, hey, watch it, man. And it's Fulton's head talking. And he's like, what the fuck? And they're both like coming towards him. And he's like, don't kill me, don't kill me. And that's when he steps on Fulton's head and the head's like, watch it, man. He's like, ah. And then he looks up again and he's hit in the head with a shovel by Seth.
Whoa. Now we've got zombies?
Yeah. Knocked out. So now we cut to him waking up in bed. And he's like, oh, man, what did I smoke? That dream was crazy. So he goes downstairs, minding his own business, just like, here's a new day.
Nothing's happened.
And there's dead Seth and dead Fulton sitting on the couch. Well, actually, dead Seth is sitting on the couch. Dead Fulton's body is sitting on the couch. Fulton's head is in the armchair, and they're throwing cheese poofs at it to try to get it into his mouth.
I love it.
And so Devon comes down. He's like, oh! And he's like, you're dead. And Seth is like, undead. Thank you very much. And he's like, sorry about the shovel. I was just a little bit bitter about being killed by my friend.
Right.
And then we see that the body has gotten up and is like in the kitchen, like fumfering around, but it doesn't have its head, so it can't see anything. So whispering. It's the perfect word.
Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing. So then Devon is like, why are you here? And Seth is like, well, we saw the light, but the music was like super lame. It was like some Enya type shit. And there was some chicks there and they were like, come into the light. But it was like really far, man. So we were just like, fuck it.
Really far. We were just too lazy to go to heaven.
Yep, too lazy to go to heaven. So Devon is like standing there like freaking out. And he kind of like plays with his hair, like runs his hands through his hair in nervousness, and the hand like pulls his hair and he's like, fuck. And one of them is like, or Fulton's head is like, what's with the hand, dude? And Devon is like, it doesn't obey me. And he's like, it's got to be possessed. And he's like, do you guys know anything about Satan or anything? And they're like, nah. And they're like, but we know someone who does. Kim, you need to learn about Satan. Where do you go and where do they go?
Do we have the internet?
It's 1999, so we have like a baby internet. It's like a baby internet.
I'll take that as they don't go to the internet. We need to learn about Satan.
Because they think it's
Do
possessed.
we go to church? Is that where I learn about Satan? Where else would I learn about Satan? They're going to go to church. Who am I?
All of them. They all want to learn. I mean, they all have a vested interest in learning about what the fuck is with this hand.
I mean, it's tough if I'm already dead or undead or alive right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I guess so why don't you be Devon? Because he's the one who really has like
Okay, yeah.
A dog in the race.
Sure.
The other two are like, what are you going to do? Kill me again?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So then I got to figure this out because my hand, can't cut my hand off.
Not for
But
your
I cut
modeling
my
career.
hand off. Also, I don't know that that'll like do the trick.
Yeah, we don't really know about this.
I'll go to church too. Probably like shove my hand in a bowl of holy water, things like that.
Take a little dip of holy water.
Yeah.
I love it. So you're both going to church.
I think so. Hand in hand.
Hey. 1 point for you. Yeah, church. Go there. Instead, they go, let's go talk to heavy metal Randy.
Oh, because he knows about Satan.
Because he knows about Satan. I'm like,
he
that's
listens to heavy metal.
I'm like, that's super fucking reductive.
Sure.
Okay? Not everyone who listens to heavy metal is super into Satan. Okay? My husband listens to heavy metal. He's kind of into Satan. So that sort of, that point doesn't work. But anyway. So
but if
they're
you're into monster trucks, then you definitely love Satan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So cut to heavy metal Randy, okay? And he gets out of his monster truck next to a place where there's like a vigil, like flowers, of like people that have died. And he sees like a hot girl there crying. And so he's like, yeah. And he goes over and picks up the girl. He's like, did you know them well? And she's like, no, I didn't know them. It's the twins. She's like, I didn't know them that well. And she's like, but I was really mean to them. I just thought they were such tards. And I was like, oh yeah. In 1999, we still said that. Like, we still said like retard as an oof. 99 was, what is life?
I mean, that was the year of the denim, all denim date by Brittany and Justin, wasn't it? I actually don't know the year.
I love that you're like, 1999. What were Brittany and Justin wearing to the VMAs that year? Let me sift through my book here. That sounds about right.
All denim.
Wait, let's see. What year? Oh God, I can't reach. What year? Hold on. Did Brittany and Justin wear denim? It found it. It was already typed. 2001. Ooh,
Close.
Not quite, but close. Okay. So she's like, I thought they were tards and they asked me to go on a double date with them. And I was like, there was only one of me and two of them. So I told them they could go blow each other.
Oh my.
It's like, all right. And so then Heavy Metal Randy, I almost keep wanting to say Heavy Metal Jeff because of Porno.
I love Heavy Metal Jeff.
Heavy Metal Jeff and Heavy Metal Randy would be I would watch that movie.
Let's make it.
That's great.
Spin-off.
Yeah. So then he like looks at her and he's like, so did they? And she's like,
What?
no. Like, did they blow each other? And she's like,
no.
no. So now we cut to Devon fighting with his hand down the street.
Can I tell you a side note?
Yes,
Heavy Metal
please.
Jeff, we follow him on Instagram now, and I love him. He's also very loud and proud liberal, which I always appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
But he just did this post that I have to show you when we get off here, where he's like every 90s character in a TV show, like back in the day, but it's just the background of Dawson's Creek song playing the whole time.
Yes.
And it's just him being like, no, we can't keep the baby or something. It's just like really dramatic, like ridiculous lines for an entire minute. And it's so funny.
I love that. That sounds, I can't wait to watch that. God, Heavy Metal Jeff. All right. So his cousin Heavy Metal Randy.
Yeah.
Who's super into Satan, which is weird because Heavy Metal Jeff is super into God.
Anti-Satan.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd like to be at that Thanksgiving table.
Wow.
Am I right? With my
Let's
popcorn.
Sit them down.
Yeah.
Have it out.
Hash it out. So go blow each other. Okay. Cut to Devon fighting with his hand on the street. Heavy Metal Randy sees him, and Devon has like shoved his demon hand into his pants.
Okay.
And so Heavy Metal Randy is like playing with the 2-ball there, bud. Jiggling your balls. I'm like, sure. So, and he's like, why are you bothering me? He's like, can't you see I'm getting some action? And then we see that the girl has like left, was not interested, and was like getting into her car. And Heavy Metal Randy is like, can't believe you just cock blocked me. And like, you know, pushes him or something. And then gets into his giant monster truck and drives over the flowers.
Oh.
Rude. So then, okay, I think I was taking notes. So like, I'm a little unclear. Devon fell. I'm assuming Heavy Metal Randy pushed him. He somehow gets his hands on a safari hat and a safari vest, which I was like, what? Turns out Heavy Metal Jeff was going to a drive-through. Like the vigil was right by a drive-through for fast food. Okay.
Okay.
And it's a safari-themed fast food place.
Okay.
So Devon has come upon a uniform for the fast food place. How that came to be, I don't know. But it was in a matter of seconds. So Devon goes into the fast food place in his uniform and goes to the back, and they're like, hey, who are you? And he's like, I'm new. And we see that like Heavy Metal Randy is like at the talkie part, and he's like, I'll have a, banana burger or whatever the fuck. It's like got a very sort of like tropical theme.
Safari
there was a lot
themed, of course.
a lot of bananas and pineapples and shit.
Big in safari.
Yeah. So he's placing his order, and then Devon comes to the window and like throws food at the person that was in front of Heavy Metal Randy to be like, get out of here. And then Heavy Metal Randy comes up because he's like above the window in his fucking monster truck. And Devon is like, tell me everything you know about the devil. And he's like, you listen to heavy metal. Tell me about the devil. And Heavy Metal Randy is like, it's just music, man. And he's like, Devon is like, my hand is like doing weird things. Like, I think it's possessed. And Randy was like, oh yeah, I used to be like that. He's like, you got to get into, you used to get me into all kinds of stupid shit. And he's like, you got to keep your hands busy. Idle hands are the devil's playground.
Oh.
And then he drives off.
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah. So then we cut to Devon knitting. He's like, I'm going to keep my hands busy. And he's sitting with Seth and Fulton. Fulton has his head in his lap. And then Fulton says, you look really queer doing that. Of course. And I wrote, ugh. Mm-hmm. And then Seth is like, you know that thing, like a devil, idle hands are the devil's playground. He's like, it's not literal. Like it's a metaphor. And I'm like, says the dude who's a zombie. Like, I don't think you're like qualified to say what is real or not, seeing as you have come back from the dead.
Yeah.
I think this is a reasonable plan based on the evidence we've been presented.
100% agree.
Yeah. So
At least let's give it a try.
yeah, because what idea do you have, dude? Like, if it's a metaphor, fine. What do you think I should do? So now we cut to cops outside of Anton's house. And they're actually there for a noise complaint, which I didn't realize until I realized that they were hearing the music that they were playing inside from outside. But they were just playing music really loud. Okay. So they look in the window and they see Devon sitting there with 2 dead bodies.
Yeah.
Because they look like dead bodies.
Yeah.
So it looks like Devon is sitting between 2 dead bodies, knitting and laughing to himself.
Ew.
So it doesn't look great.
No.
Jessica Alba's character would have been like, what are you up to? Like, notice nothing. So
Make me a sweater?
yeah. So they're like, oh my God. And the one cop is like, we need a warrant to go in there or something. And they're like, are you kidding me? Like, we're going to be heroes. Like, we found the killer. So they bypass needing a warrant and they bust in. And Anton is like trying to knit over his head. And he's like, just like, get out of here, guys. Like, seriously, you really got to get out of here, because he doesn't want to leave his hands idle. And Fulton, Anton is like, what do I do, guys? And Fulton is like, you should. And then the cop like shoots him because he like gets scared that like the head talked.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I was going to tell you to do whatever they say, but now fuck them, because he just shot me in the head. And Devon is like, I don't want to kill anyone else. And Seth is like, he's like, I don't want to kill anyone else. And then Seth is like, but you don't want to go to jail either. And Devon is like, yeah, they'll put me in a padded room. Question 8. What do you decide to do, and what does Devon decide to do?
I mean, this is a tough one.
He
I'm
realizes
with them.
they'll put him in a padded room.
Well, yes, I'm in quite the pickle.
You are drowning in pickles.
I mean, I guess.
So your goal is not to die, but also to like not kill other people.
Right. Yeah. So, oh man, this is tough. Okay. What does he do? What do I do?
And I know this is tough for you because you're not used to not being in control of your beautiful hands.
Yeah, no,
You are the queen of your hands.
I am.
Imagine if your hands just had a mind of their own.
What would I do? My career. Unless they just became supermodels.
I mean,
maybe they're better than I am.
Yeah, we haven't tested it,
So, okay, fuck. I don't know what to do. Okay, so the cops are here.
And they're like, they have a gun pulled on him, and he's knitting at them.
Guys, as you can see, these dead bodies are talking.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're not dead, quote unquote.
Yeah, there's like some otherworldly shit going on here.
Right.
So I'm not the murderer, but I'm just friends with murderees.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I love the idea of going, please observe the exhibit A.
Yeah,
do you
they're
see
right
these dead
here.
bodies? Like, just explaining what's happening. Yes.
See that head not connected to that body talking?
Weird, no? Yeah. I hear you.
It's not me.
What does Devon do?
He's going to going to ask a question. What he does, is it him doing it or his hand?
Him.
Just to be clear. Okay. He's knitting. He's gonna he's gonna, but he doesn't want to hurt them. They got a gun on me. I don't know. I guess he's gonna do the same. I don't think that's what he does at all because you didn't seem like it, but I have no other answer.
1 point. He says, they're going to put me in a padded room. Cuff me. Cuff me now.
Oh. So he's into it.
So he's holding his knitting needles out, but being like, cuff me. And they're like, put down the needles. And he's like, no, cuff me. Put down the needles. Cuff me. Put down the needles. Cuff me. Back and forth.
Right.
And then his hand gets mad and pulls one of the needles out. And he's like, oh no. And stabs the cop through the ear all the way out to the other side.
Ouchies.
That's fucking up there for me of like deaths I don't want. Needle through the ear to out the other ear. That's up there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just reminds me of like the most excruciating pain I've ever experienced in my life, which is a double ear infection.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Feels like it'd be quick.
I am just feeling the pain. My brother and I used to both have to be like hospitalized for ear infections.
Jesus.
And so it's like there's no pain worse than like an ear infection that requires hospitalization because it's so close to your brain too. So I feel like the pain doesn't have to go far. Like it's just like, I'm registering all this pain all the time. It's terrible.
Oh,
It feels like needles going in and out of your eardrums.
Right. I'm sure there's no pain worse than that exists.
Not that I've experienced.
Yeah, it feels like you'd be like in and out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
It just was like boop.
Boop. Okay, so, well, Kim is all for needles through the ear murder.
Yeah.
I
Hit
am
me with it.
staunchly anti. Okay. So stabs him through the ear, and Cop Roach is like, oh shit. And the hand grabs Cop Roach's taser and tases him in the face.
Ouch.
And electrocutes his whole self.
Ouch.
Yeah. And we like see that where it like flashes and it's like skeleton.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Yeah. And so Seth and Fulton clap. Oh, I guess they're like clap. Like they're like, nice job, me, for you. And Devon is like, it's not me. Like, I'm not doing it. And he's like, but the knitting didn't help. And Seth is like, I told you it was a metaphor. And I'm like, Seth, you're not helping. Shush. So Devon closes the door, like his front door, because it was still open from them like busting in. And he's like, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing my mind. So then Devon has an idea.
What?
Question 9. What do you do and what does Devon do?
So, okay, what just happened?
He can't control his hands. He just killed the cops. He just shut the door to his house. And he's like, I'm losing my mind. I can't keep doing this.
Okay. I'm going to say he cuts off his hand. Sounds pretty desperate.
And what do you do?
I'm going to... I'm going to try to like one arm straight jacket my hand to myself.
Okay. Because am I getting the sense that you're still trying to like preserve your modeling career?
Correct.
That's tough.
But I'm still going to, I think I'm going to try to go back to church again and try to maybe talk to like a priesty person, maybe get an exorcism of my hand.
An exorcism of your hand. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like gathering more information. Yeah. Okay, that was correct. So he goes into the kitchen. Seth and Fulton follow him. Fulton carrying his head. And Devon has his hand through a bagel slicer. Do you remember those bagel slicers?
Oh, yeah.
And Fulton is like, dude, those don't even cut my bagel. I was like, that is true. They were crap.
Did you say bagel?
Bagel.
Oh.
What am I saying?
Bagel.
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 You say bagel.
What do you say?
Bagel.
Bagel. Bagel.
With an A.
Bagel.
Bagel.
That's not bagel.
You say B-E-G-E-L. Bagel.
Ed Bagel Jr.
B-E-G-L-E-Y.
Bagel. 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 Bagel.
Bagel.
What's another word like that? Somebody else made fun of me for a similar word. How do you say Los?
Angeles.
Sorry, the other Los.
Vegas.
Las Vegas. Oh, you say Vegas.
Vegas.
So you're just diphthonging your A's up the wazoo.
And you say Vegas?
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. I'm going to go eat some bagels in Las Vegas.
I'm going to eat a bagel in Las Vegas.
Weird. Okay.
I hope everyone enjoyed that. Not sure if we'll keep that in the episode.
Yep. So he gets a bagel slicer and tries to, like, you know, hammer it down, and it, like, breaks. Like, it doesn't do anything. Yeah. And before he doesn't bagel slice it, Seth is like, what about the other one? And Devon is like, oh, no. The left is good. Like, the left is great. He's like, I guess it wasn't idle enough. He's like, I light up with it. I use the remote. I beat off. So, interesting fact, Devon Sawa, left-handed.
Left-handed. Wow.
So, then it breaks the bagel slicer. And so he says to Seth, he's like, get me that turkey carver over there. Like that, the carver. And so Seth grabs it and he, like, comes over and he's like, I am Leatherface. But then it pulls out of the wall and stops. And he's like, oh. And so he's like, okay, grab me the butcher knife. So Devon grabs the butcher knife and he's, like, trying to chop his hand off, but his hand keeps moving on the table because it doesn't want to be chopped off. And so he grabs Fulton's head and he's like, Fulton, bite my hand. So, like, now, like, his hand is steady in Fulton's head mouth, and he chops it off.
Oh my gosh.
And screams. And Fulton's response to his best friend having to amputate his own possessed hand with a butcher knife in his kitchen is, you scream like a girl.
Right.
Anyway. So then Seth grabs an iron and cauterizes it for him.
Oh,
Cauterizes
nice.
the stump.
Good friend.
Which I was appreciative of because, like, this movie is, we have to suspend our disbelief and our dysfeminism all over the place.
Right.
But I was like, at least they thought to themselves, he's going to bleed out unless I cauterize this.
Right.
And the doctor in me really appreciated that.
Great.
So then he, like, wraps it in cloth and, like, a plastic bag, you know, around it. And Fulton and Seth, again, doctor in me was very proud of them for saying, that's going to get infected unless we clean it. And I said, you are right, sir. It is going to get infected unless you clean it. So they're like, we'll go get a first aid kit. I guess Anton's family does not own first aid kits because they have to leave to go get one.
Okay.
So then Devon, like, kind of passes out from chopping off his hand. And he sort of comes to, and written in blood on the floor, it says, bad move, Anton.
Oh, shit.
And he's looking around. So now he's like, fuck. And he's, like, looking around the house with a butcher knife. The doorbell rings. It's Jessica in her angel costume. And he's like, stay out of here.
Halloween dance.
Yep. And she's like, very funny, Anton. Let me in.
Oh my God, I forgot about the Halloween dance.
So then he's like, no, don't come in here. And she, like, is still knocking. And I'm like, girl, like, if a dude tells you to leave, like, believe him. Like, just leave. Don't keep knocking on that door. So then he's, like, looking around the house and he's, like, holding the butcher knife, and then blood starts dripping on the butcher knife, and he looks up and the hand is, like, handing across the molding of the door. And he's like, shit. And it drops down on his face, and now he's fighting the hand on his face while Jessica is banging on the door. being like, we're going to be late.
To be fair, I have to disagree with you on that point of her because they had plans. So she should be like, what the fuck? Not just him being like, go away, and her just being like, goodbye.
I would appreciate her going, what the fuck? And going, what do you mean go away? Rather than going, Anton, don't be so silly. It was the lack of.
Sure. I'm just saying, don't be like, he said leave, so leave.
Goodbye. I guess I'm piling on all of the other very not attractive red flaggy behavior. And I'm just like, girl, like, please.
No, they should already not be hanging out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sometimes you have very strong judgmental statements that are said as truth and fact. And I just like to call them out.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never judged anyone ever before in the entirety of my existence. And that's a fact. I am always very measured, and I see the gray in all situations.
Yes. You have to keep your window all the way up or all the way down. I used to yell at Ketryn all the time in the car.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, gosh, like, this is literally how you do everything. Mm-hmm. Like, because it would either be, like, too hot because the windows were up. So then she'd, like, I'd be like, oh, it's, like, a little hot. Can you put the windows down? And then she'd put them all the way down so that it was, like, cold. And I was like, why not just put them, like, halfway, like, in the middle? And it's just, like, it's as if it never even occurred to her. She's never put the windows just halfway up or down.
I've never done that.
That's insane to me.
I've never done it. It's I don't know.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's
and I think I live in the middle.
Yeah, you do.
That's fascinating.
We are two different people who love each other a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So Anton manages to get the hand off his face.
Okay.
Okay. And so now for a moment he has control of the hand.
Okay.
Question 10. Where do you put it and where does he put it?
I'm going to stab it against the wall.
Okay.
Or stab it in, like, through it into something so it can't move.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going, where does he put it? Where are we? Where is he?
He's in his house.
He's going to,
he's anywhere in his house.
He's going to put it in his pants.
To jerk him off?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I wish I could give you a ding for that, but alas, I cannot. One ding. Wait a minute. I have an idea. I mean, that would have been par for the course for this
Idle
movie.
hands.
Yeah, not idle anymore. So it was his non-jerk-off hand, though.
Oh, right.
And masturbating with your non-dominant hand it doesn't work.
No, it really doesn't.
It doesn't work. Honestly, sometimes I think to myself, why do I have a left hand? It doesn't do shit. Like, it doesn't do shit. So Anton puts it in the microwave.
Oh.
And puts it on high.
Oh, he turns it on?
And it's just like in there and it's just like and like cooking and sizzling and I mean it looks like a uncovered bowl of spaghetti sauce in there. And it's just spurting all over the place. And he literally looks at it and he's like, "Oh, gross."
Uncovered bowl of spaghetti sauce.
And Jessica's still outside, like, "Anton, I'm coming in." And so he runs out the door before she can come in. And she's like, she does stand up for herself in this way. She's like, if you needed more time to get ready, you should have called. And yeah, he's like, I know, I'm really sorry. And then she's like, so what are you supposed to be anyway? He's covered in blood and he's got a stump for an arm.
Oh my God.
So he says, a fast food employee that cut off its own hand? And she's like, cool. I'm like, bitch, come on. Devon now sees, so he's standing with his back to his house.
Okay.
On the porch. Jessica is facing him. Over her shoulder, he sees Seth and Fulton walking down the road to come back to his house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Fulton is carrying his head.
Sure.
So he's like, the jig is going to be up.
Although it's Halloween time, right?
I
So,
mean,
great costume.
yes, for sure. Yes. So he pulls her off the porch, like, to hide from Fulton and Seth.
Okay.
Seth and Fulton then come into the house and they're like, Anton. And they're like, we've got bandages. They're the ouch-free kind. And Fulton puts his dirty head on the kitchen counter. Like, just, all I could think about was, like, the stump and just, like, all of the dirt and bacteria that he just put into his neck stump. Like, it just really fucking grossed me out so bad. I was like, God, you need to keep your head stump clean. Like,
he's a zombie.
I know, but it's just the principle of it. It just grossed me out.
He's
okay,
a zombie.
I don't know what to tell you. It really grossed me out. So Fulton's body.
He was just buried in the ground. Think of all the dirt that got in his stuff.
I know, and it really grossed me out. I just feel like even just the ritual of keeping your neck stump clean, I feel like is something I would do as a zombie. So Fulton's body pulls a burrito out of its body pants and holds the burrito in front of the head to read the directions. And so Fulton's head says microwave for 3 minutes and enjoy.
Yeah. I'm so here for this.
I know.
Head disconnected to the body joke.
It's fun. I love it. I'm into it.
I'm here for
it. It keeps
one.
going. So Seth is like, this is really getting on my nerves, the body head problem. So Seth grabs a pitchfork, but like a kitchen pitchfork.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
I don't know, for meat. So he stabs the tongs into his head stump and then shoves the handle into his spinal cord. So now his head's on there.
Good job.
Yeah. And Fulton is like, this is great. So then Seth grabs his burrito and opens the microwave.
Uh-oh.
And the
spaghetti
hand...
sauce everywhere.
Yeah, spaghetti sauce everywhere. And the hand goes flying out the window. And he's like, like, they're just kind of like, well, guess we fixed the hand problem. Like, it's gone now. And so then they have a fight about, like, not cleaning the microwave or something like that.
Ew.
They're like, it's not our mess. And flies out the window. And then they make the burrito. They're like, all right, here we go.
Hungry zombies.
Yeah. So now we cut to Anton being like, they're about to walk up to the dance. Everything's very close by. And he's like, I can't go into the dance right now. And she's like, what? And he's like, I made a huge mess putting my costume together and my parents are going to kill me. So like, I need to go back to my house and clean it up. But I promise I'll be right back. But I'm just like, and Jessica's just like, okay, that is totally logical and makes complete sense to me. And she then says, is something wrong? And he's like, no, I just got to take care of something. She's like, you wouldn't stand me up, would you? And he's like, not a chance, baby snakes.
Baby snakes.
I rewound it. I heard baby snakes and I read baby snakes on the caption.
Baby snakes.
Yep. Not standing you up, baby snakes.
That's definitely the nickname that Justin had for Brittany in their denim outfit.
100%. So she's like, okay. And she kisses him and heads into the dance. Oh, baby snakes. So now we cut to Fulton back at Anton's house eating his burrito, but it oozes out his neck.
Yo.
And he like licks it.
Yucky.
And Seth is like, yucky. He don't like it. So Seth, who is full of ideas, grabs some duct tape.
Tape it on up. Fixes
Tape it on
everything.
Up. Yeah. And so then Fulton takes another bite. No burrito ooze.
Nice.
It's like, great job, buddy. Anton now comes in and he goes to the microwave and opens it. And he's like, what the? You let the hand out. And they're asking, and he's like, where did it go? And Fulton is just like, oh my God, this guy, try looking up your ass. Like, he's just like, what's the problem? So then we cut to the handing down the street.
Yeah.
Now we cut to the bowling alley. And Heavy Metal Randy is there. And so is Vivica A. Fox.
Uh-oh.
She's there in a bowling uniform to try to like blend in.
Oh, right. Yes, of course.
And she's looking around, looking at everybody's hands to see whose hands look evil. Randy sees her, and it's Vivica A. Fox. So he's like, hey, Foxy lady. He says that.
Oh.
Yeah. I bet the writers were like, pat myself on the back for that one. So he's like, hey, Foxy, you looking for a ball? Because I could help you find one that's the right size for you.
Oh, right. Bowling ball. Got it.
And if that's not a panty dropper line, I don't know what is. So she says, what the hell? Try to keep up. So he then replies, anything to keep up with you, sweet thing.
He didn't say baby snake?
No, he didn't say baby snakes. Sweet thing. So she goes to bowl. Randy has two heavy metal friends that are there. And they're like, are you coming to the dance? And he's like, well, A, I graduated 3 years ago, and B, no. And he's like, I think I can find my own ride. I guess they were his ride or whatever. And he looks at Vivica bowling. So now we cut to him having a beer with her at the beer bowl place. Yeah. And he asks her, what brings her here? And she says, you don't want to know. And he says, no, I do. And she goes, here goes. I come from a long line of druid priestesses sworn to fight an evil that possesses the laziest fuck it can find. It will kill as many people as possible and then drag a free soul into the netherworld. And that's how she says it. Also a perfect Vivica A. Fox impersonation. And Randy says, that's some weighty shit. And she says, but I have the thing that can stop it. I just have to find the poor bastard whose hand is possessed. Heavy Metal Randy says, weird. My friend Anton told me his hand is doing stuff he didn't want it to do.
I know a guy.
Yeah. And she grabs him by the, I almost said scrot. Scruff. I think scruff is what I was thinking, but grabs him by the collar. And she's like, don't fuck with me. And he's like, ease up there, kitten. I'm serious.
Ew.
Oh, God. And so she's like, show me where he lives. So now we cut to Randy and Vivica in her Winnebago driving to Anton's. Cut to Devon looking around the outside of his house. And on the fence, it says, she's mine, Anton. In blood.
Dun, dun, dun.
So he goes back in and he tells Seth and Fulton, he's like, we got to go to the dance to save Jessica. And
I love that this hand needed to like leave messages everywhere.
Oh yeah,
before it went about its business.
Yeah, this hand is it knows its mission and it will stop at nothing to accomplish it and leave notes about it. Where did I?
Is the hand like weird looking now that it's been microwaved?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks all fucked up.
Okay,
all fucked up. So he's like, we got to go to the dance. And Fulton is like, yeah, I bet I'll win best costume.
I agree, Fulton.
Yeah. And Seth is like, you got to relax, man. And he like pulls out a bowl. And he's like, you cut your hand off. It's not on you anymore. And he like loads a bowl. And Anton is like, no. And like throws the bowl down. Is like, I'm sick of this. Like, I want to take responsibility for myself. Like, no more of this. And Seth like stops him and he's like, no more Kevin Costner speeches. Let's just go. So they leave the house. And as they're leaving the house, Vivica and Randy are pulling up. And Randy is like, they're stealing my Ford. Like, they're getting into Randy's car to drive to the dance to get there faster. The monster truck. Yeah. And Vivica A. Fox is like, wait here. He's dangerous. And so she gets out of the car and runs across the street. And she's like, Anton, stop. And so she gets behind the truck, but they don't see her because it's a monster truck, and they run her over.
Oh my gosh.
So,
What?
yeah. So, cut to them inside the car, and Devon realizes he can't shift because he only has one hand. And so he's like, tells Seth to shift for him. And then they hear them back up into Vivica A. Fox. And Devon is like, did you hear that? And Seth is like, who cares? And they drive off. So, but I guess for Seth, he's like, I mean, death is just a speed bump. I'm sure, you know, she just has to not go into the light. It's fine.
They kind of figured it out.
So they drive off. Randy comes over to Vivica A. Fox and feels her pulse and feels that she still has a pulse. And then he looks around.
No.
As if he's going to do something nefarious, and then gives her CPR. But I'm like, well, no, I mean, like, she needed CPR. Like, you're allowed to do that. But then when you look around to see if anybody sees, it makes me think that you're not doing CPR for CPR's sake, and then I'm weirded out by it. But if you just did the CPR.
Secretly trying to rape kiss her like in Creep Show.
I think he was, and it bummed me out. So she then coughs, and her line is, ugh, who's got the barf breath?
Oh, no.
Vivica?
Oh, no.
I hope you were paid a hefty sum for this movie. My condolences to you. So,
Who's got the barf breath?
Yeah.
Who's got the barf breath? Who's got the barf breath? Who's got the barf breath? Who's got the barf breath?
You're cast.
Kill me.
Yeah. So then Randy smiles at her romantically, and John Hughes music plays.
Yeah.
Because it's very romantic. So now we cut to Randy's two friends, his heavy metal friends.
Oh, right.
And they're making out in the car. And we see the hand crawl across the windshield. And they're dressed as like gigolos, the clown posse, clownalos.
You got it.
You know what I mean?
Posse?
Insane clown posse. Yeah. And she's like, God, it's so hot in here. I'm sweating off my makeup. And I'm like, no, you're kissing off your makeup. You're like actively ruining your makeup with the makeout. It's not the heat. So then he opens the window a little bit, halfway.
Oh.
The hand then comes in, and he takes her shirt off, and we just have tits. And he is feeling her boobs. He goes down on her, but then we see a third hand.
No! Creepy.
Is helping with the boobs.
No.
And she's into it. She's into this three-handed boob grab. But then she looks down and screams, and the hand jumps up and starts strangling her.
Oh, no.
The dude goes to leave. What? He goes to leave. He's leaving her being strangled by a hand in the car. But then the hand grabs his shirt and smashes his head up against the window until it like explodes, basically.
Wow.
And I guess they were in the parking lot of the dance, because then the monster truck pulls up and they open the car door that has like blood on the window, and Devon is like, oh shit, it's here. And he's like, you guys go in and protect Molly. Oh, Jessica. I'm going to go after the hand. Then as they're going in, we hear Fulton say, what a waste. And Seth says, I thought you didn't like Curtis. And Fulton says, I'm talking about that ass. And Seth replies, at least he died happy. So no regard for the girl that died, just for the feelings of the dude that was feeling her up before he died. Anyway, so now we're inside the dance, and we have a Ramones cover band that is the band Offspring. Do you remember the band Offspring?
Okay.
They were big in the 90s.
Yeah.
Jessica Alba is truly the worst dancer I have ever seen, which is funny because wasn't she in that dance movie called Honey where she's dancing? So I don't know if this is a bit that she's doing. it doesn't seem like a bit. It seems like this is her sexy dance, but it is so strange. It is as if she is, in fact, a baby snake. It is so fucking weird. I had to rewind it.
Maybe that's where
She's
her nickname
she's
came
literally just like doing that. I mean, it was the strangest
was
fucking
like
thing.
Genie in a bottling it.
But less organized about it. You know, just a baby snake. There's no other way to describe it. So, her friend is dressed like a devil and is like, "What's bugging you?" And Jessica's like, "I thought he'd be here by now." And the friend is like, "I'll go get you some punch." So she goes and gets punch, and it's just a shot of the baby snake dancing by itself. And devil friend runs into Seth and Fulton, and she's like, "Oh my God, who did your makeup?" And she asks Fulton to dance. And Seth is like, "We're supposed to be looking for Jessica." And Fulton says, "Don't be a skirt. We'll look while we dance. There's plenty of chicks here." And then we see him dancing, and he's like holding his head on while he dances. So now we cut to Devon looking around for the hand. And we cut to the hand crawling by itself into the principal's office. The principal is there trying to get his credit card to go through for a phone sex line he's calling in his office.
Oh my.
So then we see that he's finally got his credit card to go through. She accepted it. So now they can get into the business. And he's like, "Oh, it's like I can feel you touching me." But that's because there's a hand crawling up his pants.
Yeah.
And then the hand rips through his pants and or nuts, I guess, and kills him from nut ripping, I guess. So now we cut to Anton hearing the scream. He opens the office door to dead bloody principal. Cut to Vivica A. Fox and Randy finding Randy's truck at the dance. So they're here.
Right.
And he's like, "We got to find Anton." Vivica's like, "We got to find Anton because his hand is possessed." Randy's like, "Yeah, so I can kick his ass for stealing his truck." Now we cut to the hand sharpening itself in a pencil sharpener.
No.
So now we have a burned up, amputated hand with
Pointies.
And then we cut to Anton running into Vivica A. Fox in the hallway. So they like bump into each other. And she's like, "I know what's happening. I know what's happening to you, and I can stop it." And he's like, "How?" And she pulls out a knife and yells, "Die!"
Oh, shit.
He tries to run. She bests him. And she's like, the host of the evil must die.
Oh.
Randy says, "Isn't that knife a little extreme, kitten?"
Barf.
So much barf.
Barf breath.
Barf breath. So now she's on top of him somehow, and he bests her, and then Randy gets him, and before she can stab him, he's like, no, wait. I cut it off. And he holds up his stump. And she's like, "You let it loose?" And he's like, "Yeah, now it's after my girlfriend." And she's like, "If it's after your girlfriend, hers is the soul that it'll be dragging to hell at midnight." And he's like, "Oh, cool. It's only 9 p.m. We have 3 hours to fucking find it. Great."
Sweet deal.
And she says, "Nope, it's 6 minutes to Druid midnight."
No.
What is Druid midnight, I ask? I will be PMing it.
Postmortem.
Yeah. So
It's a real West Coast, East Coast predicament.
yeah.
We
So
deal with it all the time.
yeah. So they all run to find her. Cut to the dance. Fulton is making out with Devil Girl, and Seth is like, "This is very gross. You are dead." And she is making out with a dead body. It is illegal.
I just feel like every movie that Seth Green is in, like,
I love
they're
it.
all just having the best time.
I couldn't agree
the
more.
whole time.
I couldn't agree more. I fucking love Seth Green. I want him in more things. I love him. So then Devon, Randy, and Vivica A. Fox run into the dance, okay? And they're looking for Jessica because they were in the hallways before. Now they're in the dance. Devon runs on stage and grabs the mic from Offspring. And he's like, "There's a psycho killer here." And they all boo him because they're like, "Bring back the music of Offspring." And he's like, it's my hand. It's going to kill you. And he like holds up his stump. And he's like trying to call for Jessica like on the microphone. And she sees him. But then we see that the hand is outside padlocking the gym shut. So then the singer of Offspring pushes Devon away from the microphone and is like, you know, get out of here. We're singing. And they're about to start singing again. The hand jumps onto Offspring's head and rips his scalp off.
Oh, Offspring.
Yeah. So now everyone starts running, but they can't get out.
Oh, shit.
Then the hand like drops a bunch of lights on people. It was my herb lights, but that was weird that it happened right as I was talking about lights. That was creepy.
Ketryn's kitchen light just turned on like by itself, and there's definitely no one in there.
It's my herbs. They're on a timer. Okay, so you can't get out of the gym. So you're Jessica and Devil Girl. How do you get out of the gym?
Are there windows?
No windows. And if there are windows, they're the ones that are like
High.
Yeah.
How do I get out of the gym? And the padlock's like on the other side of the door, like we can't see it.
Correct.
How do I get out of the gym? Padlock is.
Yeah.
What do I do? How do I get out of the gym? How do I get out of the gym?
Yes, that is the question.
So I'm in the gym,
Mm-hmm. And you can't get out of the gym.
and there are a lot of other people inside.
So many other
All the
people.
We're all trying to get out.
Yes, but you're only worrying about yourself and your devil friend.
Okay. We're gonna go through the locker room. And they're gonna go through a vent.
They went through the vent.
Did they really?
Yeah, they went through the vent. 0 points for you because the locker room was locked as well. So they went through the fucking vent.
Nice.
Seth and Fulton are just sitting there because they're already dead. So they're just like, this is really,
They're
we're
eating popcorn.
Yeah, literally, they're eating chips. They're just like watching everybody. And we cut to the hand also crawling through the ventilation system.
Oh no.
Now we cut to Jess and Devil Girl in the vent. And Devil, because this is all girls care about, she's talking about how cute Fulton is. While they're about to be murdered, she's
Right.
asking her friend if Fulton likes her. Because what is life without validation from men? So they hear something in the vent behind them. So they're like, come on, we have to keep going. They come to a fan, okay? So they're in the vents.
Mm-hmm.
On the floor of the vents, there is a really fast fan
Right. Yeah.
and a grate underneath that fan,
Okay.
okay? So to get to the ground, you would have to go through the fan and kick the vent out,
Okay.
okay? So, question 12, how do you get through?
Is the fan moving?
Oh, yes, very fast.
Very fast. And I am just me and Devil.
Mm-hmm.
How do I stop a fan? Do I have things?
You have whatever is on your body.
What's on my body?
Costumes, halos, belts, tails, shoes.
Okay. I'm going to start taking things off my body
Mm-hmm.
and putting them into the fan to try to stop it.
Okay, what do they do?
Same, hand in hand.
Double ding!
Yay!
She takes Devil's shoe
Shoe.
and wedges it
Yeah.
into the fan. She is then able to kick the vent out of the way. But it's barely holding it. Like, it's definitely like, Devil is losing her mind. Like, she is just completely has no chill. Jessica then grabs the Devil's belt, which was her tail, that is now somehow 27 feet long, and wraps it around herself and lowers herself down. It's a very long belt, very sturdy material that she got from Spirit Halloween, and lowers herself down.
How dare you say that about our Spirit Halloween?
Listen, I love me a good Spirit Halloween. All I'm saying is their materials are not weight-bearing. So Jess is now down there, and she's like, Devil, come on! And Devil is losing her shit. So we cut to Seth and Fulton, who are in the vents now, too, because I guess, I don't know, they saw them go through the vents or whatever. And they hear Devil screaming, and Fulton is like, let's go save her. And then Seth's, like, bottle gets stuck, and they have to, like, get it out. Stupid. So now we cut to Jess trying to get the Devil to jump down, and all of a sudden, the rope is pulled up, like, and the Devil is like, I didn't do that. And then the rope goes around her neck, and she's pushed through the fan, and she's now being hung.
Oh my
hanging
goodness!
There in front of Jessica, and then the hand removes the shoe, and and sucks her up into the fan.
Ouch!
And she splatters everywhere.
Ouch!
So now Jessica runs for it, and runs into the art room. And
it's gonna be so sad. I saw a real love journey happening there with them.
We're gonna get to hear about his feelings about this. So she runs into the art room. Something drops on her head and knocks her out. So she's knocked out.
Okay.
Jessica is. So now we come back. Yeah. Darn it. So now we come back to Seth and Fulton, and they come to the crossroads with the fan, and Tanya splattered everywhere. And Fulton is just like, oh, I was going to get a piece.
Oh, look at me seeing their lifelong and after lifelong love journey.
Mm-hmm. And they just wanted to get a piece.
This is, wow. If that is not an example of every mistake I've made in my entire life, then I don't know what is.
I don't know what is. Yeah. You've never seen Idle Hands, but one would think you had. So then,
that's been my problem, is that I hadn't.
You hadn't seen Idle Hands. Yes,
I didn't know.
Yes,
this entire time.
So he's like, "Oh man, I was gonna get a piece," and Seth responds laughingly, "I mean, you could go back and get a piece."
They all are all dead.
I forgot one funny line.
Get a piece. Again, I had to explain it to myself.
Yeah,
real quick.
Yeah. This was also a line that Lauren Demi wrote in my memory box. I guess we laughed at this line a lot. Otherwise, she wouldn't have written it down. But I hear it now and I'm like, what was humor? That's not. Because Seth says, let's go back. I'm not going through all this, Tanya. Her name was Tanya.
I'm not going through all this, Tanya. Okay.
And we laughed and laughed. I don't know. It wasn't even the best joke in the bad joke movie.
No.
But there we are. So now we cut to Devon, and he finds a broken vase in the art room that was used to knock out Jessica. And he's looking for Jessica. And there is some sort of puppet there, because it's an art room, I guess.
Creepy.
And the puppet turns its head.
I know what makes puppets move.
Hands. So now Devon is fighting a puppet. And he manages to get the puppet on the ground, and the hand scurries out, and now the hand is gone.
Gosh, that hand. Wiggly.
But another Dilbert-looking puppet pops up and starts punching him. Okay. And so now he's punching the puppet. And he somehow manages to step on it, and he grabs a staple gun. And right as he's about to staple the hand, Seth and Fulton come in, or no, they fall through the ceiling. Oh. And he's like, you let it go again. And he's so mad.
Oh, goodness.
Then they hear a scream, and it's coming from shop class room.
Uh-oh.
We get in there. Jessica is tied to the top of a car that's on a lift.
Jessica's tied to the top of a car that's on... I thought Jessica was passed out in the art room.
All we saw was the vase. We didn't actually see Jessica. We just saw the broken vase that knocked her out.
Okay.
No Jessica there. So the car is on the lift. Devon goes to get her off the top of the car, but instead just accidentally rips her dress off. So now she's in her underwear.
Oh, that was very much needed.
Yeah, and Fulton says, bet she wins best costume.
Right.
I'm dead. So now Devon, and then the car starts moving up. And so she's about to get smooshed.
Smooshed.
Between the ceiling and the car. And she's like, no! Seth looks over, and the puppet hand is pushing the lever up to smash her on the ceiling. All three of them are trying to stop it, but the hand is stronger, and like the lever is still going up. So Seth is like looking around for like, what can we do? And he uncovers a giant super bong that was welded together from mufflers. And he's like, I've got it, boys. Mighty Joe Bong. And Fulton says, I needs me spinach. So they spark up a bowl for strength.
Okay.
And she is about to be smooshed. And she's like, you're getting stoned with your friends? Unbelievable. So now Devon has an idea. What do you do, and what does Devon do? Please suspend any amount of belief you had and disbelieve it.
Oh, no.
And suspend it from the ceiling.
No, I don't know what to do. I mean, I didn't know what to do before. So I'm trying to save Jessica?
Correct. She's about to be smooshed.
And we're smoking a muffler bowl?
The zombies are.
Where am I?
You're there, but like you're still trying to hold the lever so that she's not smooshed.
Oh, we're still at the lever.
Mm-hmm.
How do I not get her smooshed? So she's high up in the air. Like I can't reach.
I don't know why I just nodded at you. We are an audio medium. I need to say, yes, she is high up in the air.
Okay. She's high up in the air. And I'm
at the lever. And there's a super bong.
I guess I'm gonna... Okay. I guess...
I feel your brain going there, and like I know you're trying to resist it, but I'm saying don't.
I think they're gonna like get the hand so high that he's too high, and then they can overcome the lever.
And what do you do?
And he passes out. Same. I'm gonna get that hand high.
Double ding.
I'm so happy I got that double ding.
You got it. So Devon has an idea.
I love that you're like, I can see your brain going there. Just do it.
So Devon takes a huge hit.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking as I'm watching it that it's going to give him strength or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he blows into the puppet.
Right.
And the puppet's head turns around and its eyes roll back and are all bloodshot and it falls to the ground. And she's like almost smooshed. Like her nose is like this. Like she's almost smooshed. And
oh my God.
Devon grabs a tool of some kind or whatever to like unjam the lever.
Uh-huh.
And so he gets it to stop. And at that moment, the hand jumps up. And at that moment, Vivica, Angela Fox, and Heavy Metal Randy, cousin of Heavy Metal Jeff, run in. Vivica A. Fox, without even thinking, takes her knife, throws it. The hand is in midair. The knife pierces it in midair and stabs it into Seth's chest.
Oh.
And then the hand just goes, gone.
It just disappears?
Yep. And Seth looks down and goes, well, that was anticlimactic. It just poofed. The end.
Wow.
And so Vivica A. Fox then says, well, my work here is done. Time for the ritualistic sex. You coming?
Oh, no. Vivica.
Again, Vivica, how much money were you paid? It was not enough. Please know your worth. And that was like literally like her sixth line.
I was like, what was Vivica doing these days? We need to postmortem where Vivica
was Vivica?
In her career.
I really need, like, I'm like, were you in massive debt? Like, you had what? Because to me, Vivica A. Fox was like always Vivica A. Fox.
That's what I mean. Like, what had she done before this? Because I don't know.
I don't either.
She's always, I agree with you. In my brain, she just is that.
Yeah.
So, like, when did that start? I don't know. So maybe after this.
Yeah. So we'll have to postmortem. Please, Vivica A.
Postmortem that for me.
So
also find out if it's her and Jessica Alba in that show that no one can find or no one knows about.
Yeah, we're going to do a full deep dive on the two women that had absolutely no fleshing out of their character at all whatsoever. We'll be
covering all of them in our postmortem.
We're going to flesh them the fuck out. So now Devon grabs the knife out of Seth's chest and uses it to cut her down because she's like tied to it. So he like cuts the ropes and then like pulls her down. And they're like standing under the car and she's in her underwear.
Right.
Obviously. Kissing him, triumphant music. And Seth says, marijuana saves another otherwise disastrous day.
Sure.
And I was like, Seth, when you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
Then Seth kind of pushes Fulton, just being funny or whatever. He probably said something stupid.
Yeah.
Pushes him into the lever. The car comes down and Devon is dead.
No! What?
Then the screen goes to white. And then it comes back out. Fulton and Seth are heading into a hospital room. And there's Anton in a full body cast. And they're just like, hey, man. And Jessica is standing over his bed. And she's like, I can't believe you blew off heaven to kick it with me. And he's like, you're the coolest. And she kisses him. The nurse comes in with some meds. And Devon is talking to Seth and Fulton.
Right.
So the nurse is like, oh, these meds are making him cuckoo bananas. But really, he's talking to Seth and Fulton. They're like, we're your guardian angels now. We have to make sure you, like, don't get into trouble. And they've got, like, angel wings and shit. And, of course, Santeria by Sublime is playing. Like, of course that's the song playing. And so they're like, we're going to, look out for you. We're your guardian angels, buddy. And Jess says goodbye. And they also leave. They're like, we're going to go get some snacks. And they turn off the light in his hospital room. And he looks up and it says, I'm under the bed.
No!
And he starts screaming. So now we cut to Seth and Fulton walking down the hallway.
Oh.
And Seth says, you're right. Anton does scream like a girl. Which is the worst insult.
Those jokesters.
And Fulton says, should we tell him who wrote it? And Seth says, fuck it. Let's go walk through a nurse. And Fulton replies, this is the last line of the movie. Very last line. Watch it. Some of them are guys.
Boo.
Boo.
You can go ahead and see yourself out.
Goodbye.
Movie.
The end. Idle hands.
Oh, man. That was... it was a fun ride.
It was a fun ride. I can see why I absorbed so many subliminal messages from a charming, idiotic movie. Drunk on peppermint schnapps in Lauren Demi's basement.
Oh,
all right,
man.
I'm gonna total your points.
That was just silly. Just silliness.
Hey, Sammies! So, as you've heard, we have a Patreon, and we have some amazing BoneCon happening over there. That's bonus content. BoneCon all the time. We are constantly updating our benefits, and we would love for you guys to come hang out with us over there. And we actually have some deals going on right now if you join soon.
Join for an annual membership by the end of 2020, and you'll get 2 months free.
So, Sammies, what are you waiting for? Come on. Come over to Patreon. We're all hanging out. Goodbye.
We're all gonna stay alive.
Okay, madame. For your dead or alives, you got 3 out of 9.
3 out of 9.
But for your questions, you got 18 out of 26.
All right.
That's really good for a total of 21 out of 35.
Man, those dead or alives get me every time.
They for a brief moment in time,
moment.
they were not getting you.
A brief moment around the 100th episode.
Yep.
I was gifted with
Yep.
some type of dead or aliveness.
Yep, and then it was gone forever. So that was it.
That was really fun. I'm really glad I got to.
Yeah, we
got to
should
finally see that.
get super high and watch it.
I think that would be really fun.
I think that was the way it was meant to be watched.
It was obviously meant to be watched that way.
Yeah.
It was obviously written by someone very high.
100.
And
do you think it was written by a guy?
Oh my gosh, it's
don't
hard
know.
to tell.
I mean, Terri. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I'm not
Yes.
really sure.
No idea. I'm perplexed at what to announce because it is not October anymore, and I don't know what to say to people. I'm just like, keep listening to us.
I think just please keep listening.
Yeah.
Share us with a friend.
I hope that we are
Please.
listening to this on the other side of an apocalypse.
Please,
Please,
write
God.
us a 5-star review.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is kind and loving.
Yep.
And
Yeah, we
kind
kind of stopped pushing for those.
You can buy our merch on Threadless. You
Mhm.
can join our Patreon if you'd like to support the podcast. Those are all really wonderful ways.
Yeah, you can get
That's all.
we release videos of each of the episodes, so you can see me smacking myself in the face too hard and my nose still kind of hurts. All of that.
And then just follow us on social media, KKSM Podcast.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening. We just love you
we
guys
just
so
love
much.
you so fucking much.
This has been a very exciting month, and we just fucking love our goddamn Sammys so
Yeah,
much.
we
You
really
all
do.
are the best.
Yeah.
You can come hang out with us and our Sammys at our Facebook group.
Come on over. Sammy's Stay Alive, maybe. So this has been Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
Maybe.
So until next week, stay
Stay
alive! Put a ghost in me.
I'm done.